ham sandwich. Hello? Never had one lesson. Hello?
Hello? Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Hello? Never had one lesson. Hello?
Has anybody ever been to like a live hockey play?
I want you to leave your voice mail to my answering machine.
Just take his voice and record it.
Listen,
Put it in ChatGPT and then.
all communication is hypnosis. All communication is projection. All communication is politics. All communication is spam. Hello?
Who kicked him down?
Hey, I have a question. Are you Jewish?
Is who Jewish?
Sorry, I was busy. No, I'm not Jewish. Like, if you're asking my ethnicity, no, I'm not Jewish.
Yeah, because we have a lot of Jewish cities in Morocco, and it's part of our identities and culture as well, because there is a lot of Jewish people in Morocco.
Yeah, that's true.
In Fez, Meknes, and also the royalty that.
But at the end of the day, people are obsessed with saying his name when they mention anything presidential. But when Biden was sleeping at the White House and sleeping on stage and fucking losing his damn liars, nobody said, which one said, yo, I have never paid that much in gas in my fucking life when this nigga was in the president. Oil changes, like everything. We went broke with Biden. Broke as shit.
Everything doubled in cost. Everything gone down.
And there was and y'all don't see between the lines. Obama did the worst shit. There's an interview with Obama telling us, hey, if you guys put Trump in house,
Hello?
be a pandemic.
Is this a Black History class? Hello?
Hi, sir. Yes, it is.
I wanted to say that Jeremy the Talking Ape, his real name is Jeremy Hill, and he's the CEO of Cloaked Wireless. And I've notified his investor that he comes on here 100 hours a week and makes hypersexual, hyper-racist, horrible anti-Trump, anti-American rhetoric, and I've reported him to his investors as well as his employees. His name is Jeremy Hill, and he's the CEO of Cloaked Wireless, otherwise known as a fat, disgusting, white piece of shit out of Canada, aka white trash, and he has run his mouth long enough in the Talking Apes. Finally, a silverback in Illinois, in Chicago, in America, is fighting back against the tyranny of that fat, disgusting, loudmouth piece of shit CEO, Jeremy Hill, of Wireless, Canadian piece of shit CEO of Cloaked Wireless. And again, we've notified notified him about his stinky legs. He's got stinky legs and he needs to wash his legs. And we've notified his primary investor, Mr. Back, who he loves to tout, who was an early crypto enthusiast, just like Jeremy. So again, Jeremy, CEO of Cloaked Wireless, we've officially doxed him. We've officially put him on every platform. We have filmed him. We have made an ass of him, but it's really himself who is a giant ass who sits here and runs his big, fat, disgusting mouth, and America is sick of it, and we are fighting back against the CEO of Cloaked Wireless, a talking ape piece of shit named Jeremy Hill. Hello?
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, wow. What's going on here?
Yeah, we're aware of all that stuff, sir.
Was that like a public announcement or was that propaganda? You tell me. You tell me.
Public
Anyway, so
announcement.
yeah, back to the shit we were talking. When it comes to political conversations, people love saying Trump, man.
Kind of want to get a closed wireless phone now.
And as soon as you curve the conversation to another president, everybody gets quiet. Our politics are all fucked. We know that. And in all honesty, when we sit here and want to talk about politics, talk about religion, you guys need to be happy. That is the overall goal in your life. Make sure your family is happy and well. Make sure that you are happy and well. Make sure that when you come up on this app, you actually have time to be on the app. Make sure that before you come onto this app, your kids are taken
Hello?
care of, your spouse, your family, everybody's
Yeah, it's
oh,
called the
yes, sir.
theory of joy. Does anyone here ever talk about the theory of joy or
Yeah,
bliss?
the theory-
No.
the theory of joy.
CEO of Cloaked Wireless, Jeremy Hill, all he does is run his fucking mouth and slobbers all over the place, all messy. He's getting messy. I'm about to get messy here, boys. Jeremy Hill is a disgusting human being, and he should be censored, and he should be limited from even being in the Talking Apes. You need to get rid of his privileged status. Get rid of his ability to make rooms. We've had enough. Enough anti-American, anti-Trump rhetoric out of his disgusting mouth. He's got a family. He's on here 100 hours a week. He's taking money, millions of dollars from investors. He's got 2 YouTube videos up, and the guy is on here lecturing us all day long. No, resist. Jeremy Hill, CEO of Cloaked Ventures, aka Cloaked Wireless, is a human piece of shit. Everybody knows it. He's got the biggest, most disgusting mouth on the platform in the house. We're pushing back. This is a public service announcement. Jeremy Hill, CEO, Cloaked Wireless. He has been put on notice, and I challenge him to a Talking Apes trial by combat!
Fatality. So he actually had people vote him off the island. He actually wanted to be here, and they said no. So he removed his title. No longer. Yo, Mossy, what up?
Jimmy got that?
Shut up.
Oh God, his sister's here.
So again, this is a public service announcement. Candidate John Kitover is publicly challenging Jeremy Hill, CEO of Cloaked Wireless, to a Talking Apes trial by combat. Who here is strong enough to judge and moderate the trial? Hello? Mountain. Kaiser. Ta.
Queer.
Hello? I would actually request that Day adjudicate. Day can splurge out, sometimes spurg out, crash out.
Worry about your own father.
Is that a projection? Are you projecting onto me your own fucked up relationship with your father?
Worry
Hello?
about your own package.
Hello? You're projecting. Because all communication is
Worry about
projection
your package.
and
Worry about
conditioning.
your own man.
Hello?
Faggot.
Ooh, are you bisexual? Hello?
I knew it.
Hello? All communication is conditioning.
Anybody else wanna go to money?
Hello?
Because I'm a Kitover.
All communication is projection. conditioning,
At
propaganda,
least you know what I'm
politics,
thinking.
hypnosis. Hello? I got earplugs in. I can't hear you, Mossy. Hello?
What the fuck is going on?
Hello?
Yeah, man.
Hello?
Sorry. Hello?
Fuck, you guys gotta be killed.
Hey, Martin.
Bro,
My friend today.
bro.
What character is it? What character are you today, Mossy?
T.A. Mossy. Always a T.A. Are you gonna be taken today?
You want gotten out, man.
What?
You keep cutting out.
Who was that individual that came on here saying that about Jeremy?
That was John Kitover.
He's in the goo. He gave his name.
Well,
I think you should have had a chance.
Well, you did challenge him to combat of death like that, so. Alright, here we go, guys. Wish me luck.
Cowboy Combo!
You don't like hearing the truth.
well, I don't like people being doxxed.
Then everyone got him because of how he is. You think that happened in this room? That's public information.
Regardless if he's a good person or a bad person, I think we're not supposed to be listening to people being doxxed, even if it's already happened, if it's gonna happen, or if it's happening.
Well, as a fucking green bean here, you fucked up.
Nope. Yeah. Exactly. I noticed that too, honey. I was like, oh wow. He really was getting doxed out right now and then. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But it's not, don't get me wrong. It's not something that we didn't know already, you know what I'm saying? But it didn't make it right. I'm just saying it's not like we didn't know all of that anyways.
Yeah, both of y'all sound like some losers right now.
I guess I'm a loser then. I have a heart for people.
I don't give a fuck.
Or, you know, whether you like me or you hate me, I still care about you. I'm just that kind of person. Y'all been part of my life now for over a year, so I tend to
Don't give him all that extra.
Yo, Juju's over here saying that to cover his ass, but he don't got a green bean, so he's good. You got a green bean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You got to drop it to the goo, so you did it, and it happened. So there you go. There's no point in backpedaling to the fact that it was allowed
Why
to
do
be.
you give me a green bean now? What the fuck?
Well, I think that was being a fucking asshole.
It was allowed to be done. Hold that up.
Ooh. You know what?
Well,
If you want to give me a green bean, Jeremy got doxxed right now again.
Honey was upset that he put out information everyone already knows.
Oh yeah, I sure did, bro.
It wasn't new information. I just don't like to hear it. And I was trying to move him to the audience, but I didn't have the option to move him down.
I moved him a couple times, but he ain't saying nothing new. We already.
Yeah, exactly. We already
I
heard
didn't hear
all
what he said. I didn't even hear what he said. So
Yeah,
It is
I always tune him out because he always kind of says the same shit. So I like John, but he just, you know.
You can't be. Ain't sure you can do it. This nigga out here fucking getting beef everywhere he goes and shit.
right. That's in every room. That
So
should.
John does? Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But stand on business. Ain't no need to backpedaling.
There ain't no backpedaling. CEO of Cloaked Wireless, Jeremy Hill, is on notice. That big, loud, disgusting mouth of his. I'm challenging him.
Oh, you dropped? No, I was gonna drop them too. Nobody wants to hear that shit, bro. You already finished yourself 10 times, bro. We allowed you to do it a few times now. You know what I'm saying? Like we got it.
Oh, you just want to hang out with me then? You just
sound like
want to hang out with me? I get it. You just want to hang out? Hello?
Yup.
For the what does he call that fuck, dude? He says the same shit to us does. For the
impression, kid. Fuck. That's you acting like a straight ditch this morning, bro.
Those are the two dictators of the talking names, Jeremy and Taz.
Do me a favor, dog. Anybody who has a green bean, give me one when Taz is your I'll straight kick his ass from the room. I don't care if you guys block me for whatever the fuck. I don't care. Fuck that, dude.
I was going to if he was, because he kept on kicking me down. I was just waiting for somebody to give it to me, and I was gonna fucking boot that bitch. I didn't care. I was tired of it.
Yo, Matt, what's up? Welcome.
The way you walk, because this is shit.
Yeah, he was being a bitch to Sabrina, too. He boomed the room.
That's true. You see how it gets, bro? That God complex be affecting motherfuckers.
Oh, my
vicious.
God. He really did. He sat in the room hostage, dude, for 6 fucking hours.
Body,
That's crazy.
Alright, so did you know that there were black Americans from a long time ago in the Dominican Republic?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
There's some black Americans that, I forgot the history, but somehow they went to Dominican Republic a long time ago.
You do realize that Haiti is pretty much Dominican Republic, right?
Of course, Espanola, but
Yeah.
it was Haitian first. Obviously, Poppy.
We have a Dominican here if you want confirmation. His name is Kaiser.
Okay, well, I don't know much about it. I mean, what I'm saying was Hispaniola first, and then islands.
But living in Indiana, they probably would have been a far more interest.
Right, exactly. When anybody brings up Real Housewives, I'm like, oh God,
We
no.
can't, if we don't have predictions, so we
Like,
can't,
talking
we
about
can't
my
have
neighbor.
evidence.
Let's talk about your neighbor. Let's tell us the
No,
story.
but there's no evidence about things. in
There's this
the
whole thing because like Simone Biles is dating, I don't know, one of the Browns. And then my neighbor, her husband is Shelby Harris. There's a weird situation, like I guess like catty between her and Simone Biles and my neighbor.
We can only trust them.
Well, that's kind of like, I guess like the hottest goss that anybody would care about, I guess. It's not really anything. I really don't like Simone Biles personally.
Is she like a full-grown adult now?
Yeah.
I was like, you want to call her Simone Vile?
Just let him come up. Well, he's back. So
He's back, bitch!
I was gonna say, John, I just wanted to see you come back to the paint on. There you go. Just do yourself proper. Don't come in as you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the room. I'm gonna take off now. But I appreciate the room and the topic, bro.
Absolutely.
Alright, bye.
He's back.
Then chuck that to paint on, dude. Not that.
Intellectual and theological,
I think that's your microphone or something, bro.
Hello?
My concern though is that religions are using all these fancy words to redecorate simple bigotry. I think somebody to show them wrong about that.
yeah, well, I think that the God of the gaps should have been shrinking over time because we need faith to explain fewer phenomena over time. That doesn't make people more reliable. That doesn't make trust part of human nature. It doesn't make people good. Just an understanding of the mechanics is a little. It requires baking in fewer mythologies and superstitions and magic.
Hello?
People gravitate to spiritual religions to explain the unexplainable. Right, as you said, David, there are fewer and fewer things that are unexplainable, which would make sense if there's a lack of religiosity in the country, or like a growing lack of religiosity.
Well, I think the faith sucks up the rest of the oxygen in the room when people don't understand statistics and probability, and something low probability happens. They want to believe
Maybe they fear.
Hello?
Fear other bad outcomes. So
Hello?
the most convenient architecture to them might be that they were told to have faith that God has got a plan for them, and it continues to fuel the egoistic society.
Hello?
What would you say, David, to an alternative view, which is that religion stopped explaining science a long time ago, and most people hold on to a religion not for its science explaining capability, but for its moral explaining capability?
Well, I just think it's moral laziness.
Hello?
To not look around and see the expediency of an organized religion and how it's part of explaining reality. It's part of explaining human history. That if you want to adopt a scientific framework, the Occam's razor is the simplest explanation is evolution truth. That physics explains these things, and that take on fewer assumptions that you shouldn't make claims about the future because it's not knowable. You shouldn't make claims about pre-consciousness. I don't have any memories in utero. I kind of understand why certain things don't come online, like theory of mind, having a memory, the substrate you would form a memory on. But I also looked into the math of souls and what they say in church versus what science says about souls. And maybe I hit the fork in the road like you did and chose the path that had more explanatory power.
But that was, I mean, I think some of that stuff touched on like eternal life and eternal soul in a moral sense, but I feel like
it's language.
Science is not touching.
They're placeholders.
Science is not touching morals. Do you think, or am I wrong?
What touches morals? That's a social thing. Science doesn't touch social things. Almost. I mean, you probably agree that economics is not the same kind of science. It's not a hard science like.
I don't believe economics is a science.
Right. So when you. I don't know where the membrane is. Am I stepping outside of science when you take a scientific language like math and explore finance? That's not economics, but
how would you use science though to solve a moral difficulty?
Tell me a moral claim that science can address. It's scientists need to go on a ledge for.
I guess I'm just asking what you would.
Look, when I go pick up my kids from school, am I using science to say hello? No. Like, science isn't used for.
Hello? Hello?
The social life is
I'm just asking, what would you say to somebody who thinks that their religion remains necessary because they
Hello?
more moral loads?
Well, then I would just ask them, what else informs their moral perspective? What is the right thing to do about buying Bitcoin? That can't actually be in the Bible.
Hello?
Because they're not. So I would step as far away from talking religion with them and see what they say about moral things. The trolley problem and prisoner's dilemma. You can talk about hypotheticals without bringing up religion. If you do that too early with somebody, you're probably going to get them to not exactly tell you what they believe.
Hello?
Because they're going to be so defensive that you're looking up their constitutional skirt too much.
Hello?
Trying to use case studies. I mean, it just... I don't think I've interviewed people about their money and started what informs their moral point of view from a religion. Those things either happen naturally and people want to share them with you, or you're trying to interrogate somebody and they're not at church. They're not where they would share that kind of thing with you.
Pachinko!
Until they feel more comfortable.
Hello?
Well, you're running the room now. So I don't know. I don't know what informs people's moral.
I gotta get to the gym. This grown man has gotta leave. We finally found the perfect content for you. I hope you enjoy. I hope it brings you contentment. You're talking about They're skirting around the concept of God. That's all an atheist does is they swirl like a turd. Swirling around the toilet, facing the inevitable suction and demise.
We've kind of are largely outsourced people's
desolation,
to talk on these topics. But
oblivion,
how do you bring up moral
down the toilet?
questions? I mean,
An atheist is a swirler.
every day when people bitch about their taxes or like are proud that they pay their taxes.
Ooh. Hello? Hello?
Other than I feel a way about a thing. I don't really get I'm making a decision based on things that I know.
Someone would come, so let's go.
It's also an extra word.
Safe. Fun.
You usually get with people
Joy.
in context, but the idea that there's objective morals and all that stuff goes way off the range.
Yeah, I mean, Benjamin, when people say that their morals are informed by this really old book, I might need to follow that up is, upon whose authority are you Catholic? Is there a pope? Is this, what intermediates that book, if anything? Because they didn't write the book. They had to have heard it from somebody else.
Hello?
And usually, largely people's religious environment is an inherited thing from how they grew up, which is got its own problems. What's up, hero? Yeah, I think that moral discussions are largely private discussions, things that are usually not even addressed by, Brian breaks up with his girlfriend, decides to go on a ski trip, then he invites her. Is that a moral thing? I mean, it's not science. It's it's social lives. People's social lives are messy, so I think the desire for morality, it feels like there's some rule book, and for science is a procedure book, and most people's lives are the collisions of other kind of particles.
Where'd you put this one? So I was speaking and performing at a conference, and my previous girlfriend came with me 2 years in a row, because I was the speaker 2 years in a row, but for the second one, they added her to the conference. She had she had an MFA, and it was, some of it was education, poetry, and all this kind of stuff. So she was a journalist at the time, so I beat you as a grad student. So anyways, they brought her to it. Oh, she'd be great to add to it. And we broke up in between that time, and it was coming up in like a month. And but we were on good terms, but it was coming up in like a month at the point which I was already dating my current wife, and she wanted to do it because my wife wanted to come. So that was one of the first events my wife came to with me, and that was my ex-girlfriend, and it was very, very awkward. And my morals were, I wanted to take that money. I couldn't tell the other person not to go, and I wasn't really all that upset that she was going, because I didn't think there'd be that much more allowed. My wife was
Did you discuss with your current wife and current girlfriend the dynamic ahead of time? I didn't know that.
I did.
So you had disclosure, And she said she wasn't
There you go.
like
She also alongside me.
He said, great, I can't wait to go. And because I was in the mountains, and it was at well, not the mountains.
what was the moral dimension of the mountains here?
And I was just saying it had a little we went away on vacation kind of deal. It was up in state in the beginning of the winter, and it's pretty far up there in New Hampshire. Anyways, so yeah, that was just brought me back to that wonderful business decision I made. That was not a good decision, and I have paid dividends of that ever since.
12 produce 70 that go to Egypt and leave as like 2 million, right? So that group that occupies the land of Israel, that era you'd want to put at like 1,000 or something BCE. And the amount of time that they spend in Israel, 400-ish years of a monarchy and different civil wars. Then they get expelled 70 years. They come back roughly, another 400 years until you're at the year 0 with the final expulsion, right? So that's about 1,000 years. Okay? 1,000 years of history for the Jews that we're talking about that I'm saying I descend from. Then, about 2,000 years of those same people living in Europe, in eastern Italy, northern Italy, the Germanic region, then blossoming into the Ukrainian, Hungarian, Austrian, Lithuanian regions, right? All blooming up from Italy and France, right? We can't ignore France. France is also right there in the middle of the German Ashkenaz region. They were in Europe, my ancestors were in Europe for 2,000 years, and claimed to be from the era of Jews that were in Israel for 1,000 years. So yeah, I am very European of the past 2,000 years.
I know me, I'm a nigger Jew. I'm proud of it.
What did they say?
My ancestors were Zoroastrian, and Benjamin yesterday read a paper on how we are all Zoroastrians, we're all Jews. So, by association, I am Jew too.
Do you know what I mean?
How'd you do it?
You got it. I'm on it.
You know that Jew to you.
I'm just joking. I'm not
Where you going?
Have you ever seen Batman save the black man in the animated
You black.
No, because black people don't need a savior. We're good.
You black nigger. How people think like you
Listen,
the
bro, I'm just
like we took the word and we made
joking.
it what it is. Like how the hell is that supposed to hurt me? I'm gonna use it on you.
Because the N-word
We use it the best.
in black people.
Yeah, nigger boy, we use it the best.
I'm sorry.
You know the average was a 115?
No, nobody cussing at her ass.
So 150. There you go.
Thanks so much.
Have a good day.
Is that the G-word and the G-word?
Jew or not
They
Jew?
smiling.
That is the question.
What kind of shoes this nigger boy got on in this picture? What kind of shoes that got?
You definitely got those at the market.
He was supposed to put a picture up of his body without a shirt.
Hot boy.
Sure.
Just hot boy.
They already
I think he's a little shy. What the hell is it? What kind of shoes are those, nigga? You going hiking? The fuck?
Oh my God, aside.
Broken ass shoes. No wonder why he's mad at you.
Then the motherfucker don't earn his pants.
That's how they dress out there in Morocco. Y'all ain't got no style, bro.
What's in his earphone or his earpods? Under
his phone. This nigga still got wired AirPods.
Hey, it's all about what's underneath them clothes, man.
I was scared of my What the hell did you just say, Nero?
Girl, aren't you married?
Mate, I'm lost it. I like to look but not touch.
Hey, where
Look
you
at
go?
that Jew in the room. That Jew in the room.
Y'all kicked him out. Oh, nah, I didn't kick him.
I didn't.
You did?
No, I said I didn't.
Oh.
Who'd you kill?
There's a really cool area along. If you go to Rome today, there's Kitover River.
Okay.
That's the oldest settlement of the Jews in Europe ever. It's around 200 BC. Yeah.
That's the guy that looks like, everybody look up Grow Your Greens on YouTube. This guy looks exactly like him. Here, I'll put it up.
Who does?
Hey, say again. Sorry, I'm in a cafe. It's kind of loud here. My apologies.
Yeah. I'm gonna put his page up. This guy looks just like this guy.
The oldest settlement of the Jews is in Mexico.
Big side. Are you familiar with that? The Trastevere River. It's beautiful. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, I've been to the Roman ghetto many times.
Oh no! This is before the Roman ghetto. This is before the Roman ghetto.
Like Matt. I swear. The link at the top. That look just like Matt. That's your brother, Matt.
It's a handsome-looking guy, I must say.
There you go. This is the guy, Grow Your Greens. He's all about gardening. I used to watch him.
Who's this guy?
Oh man, I'm doing some gardening today. But yeah, if any fuckers been to Rome, it's so beautiful. Rome is so beautiful.
What are you playing?
What am I planning? Oh, okay. So along my fence, I'm gonna do some hops. You guys know hops that you make the beer with?
Wait, before you go, what kind of fence do you have? You got a white picket fence, traditional kind of fence.
Well, I'm in Calgary.
No black people get
That's
shot, Smiler.
No, I'm in Calgary. I'm in like quote unquote the most dangerous neighborhood in Calgary, but it's beautiful. It's no problem whatsoever, bro. It's a nice place.
Alright, so what kind of fence?
Yeah, actually white fence, yeah. My neighbor is Vietnamese.
Okay.
All the folks in my town here are either Vietnamese or Ethiopian or Sudanese or Eritrean.
So what kind of grass you got? Is it fescue? We talking?
I don't know. Grass I plant, regular grass. Grass that will grow in Canada.
Is it strongly cut in, or is it like you got the cool temperature?
Oh man, sometimes -40 here, bro.
Alright, so you got cool grass. Alright, so you
Oh yeah.
got some fescue, Kentucky blue, maybe something like that. Alright.
Oh man, I wish I had the Kentucky blue. That would be amazing. That shit's beautiful.
All that matters to me is the flowers you plant. Alright, fence, what you got?
Yeah. So that's why I would do some planting here, but yeah.
What kind of what you got? Put some.
Okay. So I'm gonna grow some scarlet runner beans. You know what those are?
Scarlet water beans, no.
Runner beans.
Runner beans. Oh, no.
Okay, so they can grow like 12 feet tall along a fence. And they're like little red flowers, but you can also eat the beans. Okay, cool. And then we're gonna throw in some morning glories. So with morning glories, you know, they grow everywhere. I'm gonna try to make it so that my entire fence is just covered in like creeping vines and flowers.
All of these are tall.
don't have much space. It's small. I'm in a neighborhood, but it's got a good yeah, it's big enough. It's big enough, yeah. Gotta try to make whatever you have around you beautiful. That's my,
I give a nice trench, bro. Get you a nice deep trench. And you probably put some, you gotta wait fence up, probably some wire around.
what's that photo of? What's your, what mosque? Is that a mosque or?
It's a synagogue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's definitely nice.
Definitely has to pray in synagogues too.
Well, when I was in Dubai, the Muslims, they were saying at any mosque, anybody can pray. If you're Christian, you can pray
This is the
there.
guy that does the fragrance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the guy. Yeah, this guy's cool as fuck. He was over there. He was selling. Yeah, he was over there. He was mixing stuff, doing custom fragrances and shit. Yeah, this guy's cool, man. I remember talking to him early in the morning on my way to work one day. Yeah, that's how the culture is so different. You know. It was.
But I think the Italians have the best soil.
I remember people, bro.
Yeah, the sweet peas, I'm excited for that. I really hope to grow them well.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess you can say that.
Yeah. In Argus and LA, it's hard to grow stuff, eh? It's really dry and hot.
Listen,
What can you
it's
grow?
not
Anything
even
grows that are
education,
broke?
like the only thing we have is an olive tree, and like it depends if you go to Ramona on the suburbs of San Diego. We do grow really good grapes and some lot of wineries there.
Okay.
So grapes do really well. Avocados do excellent in fall growth.
Okay.
I was thinking of purchasing like one of these avocado farms where ROI is fantastic on it, but it's extremely hard to freaking maintain it. So they're very delicate sort of fruits or vegetables, whatever they are. So eaten very often. You need like a good crew to maintain your farm, etc. It's a very tedious kind of investment, although the ROI is good on it. But other than that, I think olive trees grow well. What is it called? Angier. What is Angier? Figs grow well.
Oh, wow.
My neighbor had a whole lot of tomatoes, like her entire backyard is filled with tomatoes. And when you're living in the heart of the city, I live very close to the heart.
Zargus, if you have a chance, grow something called osmanthus fragrance. Osmanthus fragrance. Get this. Try to picture this scent. So you take apricot jam, and then you take vanilla, and you take coconut milk custard, and mix them together, and that's exactly what osmanthus fragrance. It's like an apricot and vanilla and coconut milk. It's unbelievable. I'll throw it on. I know you can roll them down where you're at, because we grow them in Tokyo, so yeah, I'll throw it on.
Matt, I wanted to ask you something. I have synesthesia, right? So for me, I smell and taste and visualize simultaneously.
Stupid fucking bitch. Stupid bitch. She feels life simultaneously.
Can you smell the difference?
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. I had COVID hit me, but I was still able to mix perfumes because I can kind of of like
in your head.
yeah, exactly. I can write down like pen and paper and formulate from my mind's eye, kind of. You know, like for example, there's so many famous musicians. If they lose their hearing, they can still like write symphonies and stuff like that, or write music. It's like it's in your head. Yeah.
Never
Yeah,
been
of course you can.
Yeah, of course. That's why I asked. Because Hendrix like never learned formal music. He too had what I had, and it was just like a mix of like variations of colors and the permutations and combinations of these that led him to make a tune out of it based on the colors that he mixed and matched. So
Well, it's not a strange thing because the human brain always thinks in terms of analogies, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, everything we do is analogical, like the old expression, like the map doesn't match the territory. Like the universe and reality is super complex, and so as human beings, we're just analogy making machines, and that's when we come on the app, we're basically arguing with each other about the analogies. We're like, no, your analogy's wrong. No, I believe your analogy is too simple. You know what I mean? But none of us are actually talking about the real fucking world. You know?
Right. Also,
it's too complicated.
I agree. Also, in the Eastern world, like you see that how they came up with pictorial depictions of demigods, goddesses, etc., was simply because language was not that prominent at the time. Right? It wasn't as formulated, as sophisticated. And so, like attributes, etc., were shown in the form of like very ornate deities, etc.
Yeah.
So symbolism is very innate, I think, within us humans, and figures and forms. And this is why I think like the one God concept without a form is one of the hardest things to sort of come to the conclusion of. And some form, some manifestation. It's just,
Yeah, I threw that flower down there, guys. If any of you guys like live in a place that's kind of warm or hot, you have to check out this flower. I swear to God, it smells like better than anything in the world. It's like so creamy, like milky coconut, but then also like a beautiful, like overripe apricots. You know. Anyways. Bro, it's amazing. It's amazing. Anyways, guys, I have to fuck off. I gotta go get some work done. I'll talk to you later.
Like I said,
later, man.
Tell your greens.
No, she can't grow a damn thing.
That is one interesting ass dude. Didn't hear you talking about stuff, man. Gems. He just travels places and makes people custom like fragrances.
Perfumes.
He says that he was in Dubai because they love that shit over there.
Dude, man,
like everybody wants their own smell.
Matthew is such a kind-hearted human. Like he's so kind-hearted. He's one of those rarities who wants the world to be a better place.
Yeah, the people would be a better place. I wanted to say fuck that.
Look at this Juba.
That's so black. Then we can't understand how good, how good it is, give me some fucked up shit here and there.
Yeah, that's true. The world is how quickly we get used to stuff. Like I do drone delivery now. The first time I did a drone delivery, I went out with my son. We were like, wow, this is so convenient. We just ordered it. It only took 5 minutes. And I'm like, man, where are my pretzels, man? Ridiculous, man. It took 5 minutes, 30 seconds. You know?
Say drone delivery.
I don't appreciate what. How you doing drone delivery? That's an option, or is that just doing it in the neighborhood? Yeah, we in Texas, man.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what is this?
Drone delivery.
Like you got a drone and you pick ship with a drone and deliver it to the house.
Would that be?
So depending on the state you
Someone
live,
like the drone delivers it.
yeah, the drone delivers it straight to your house.
Wait, so welcome to this. You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you pray and shit. You say, in the name of Jesus, and our Father, who art in heaven. And you finish the prayer, and then you say, good morning, son. You give him some cereal, then you do what?
It's like this. Oh man, I forgot to get eggs.
Oh shit.
Stop and get eggs.
Alright, you got that
So I
fucking
had
eggs.
tried to turn it for 30 minutes.
Alright.
While I push the button and it comes to me in 5. Which one would you do?
Shit, man. I'd rather take a trip.
What the heck?
Alright, look, fast forward.
It's not lazy, that's
You gotta go
It's not just laziness. Because then you're using gas, right? So it costs more. And
the fast forward.
yeah, go ahead.
human tech.
You do all that shit, get the eggs or whatever, get the pancakes or whatever, and then you go to work. Alright, what happens now?
No, I'm still stuck on the fact that people complain after they've had that done for them. But you won't get it because you're not thinking about the grandmother, right? Who has disability issues. This is changing their life. You're not thinking about that.
Yeah, this is gonna live.
So why are you straining the system? Once you left
Yes, bitches. Are you not thinking about those or
I'm perfecting it. You need people to onboard so it scales. How do you think you're on Clubhouse?
I'm all with you, Freeman.
Yes, what?
All for convenience, comfortable life.
I just wanna know how this drone shit work.
So multinational companies are building drone beehives so they can just send their product to the consumer
ABC
without an
Heating
intermediary.
and Cooling and Electric understands the meaning of great service
Alright,
and
so you
quality.
gonna get the fucking
ABC's
drone.
warehouse.
I turn on that company's app, Amazon, and I enter, I want this, and then it sends me what I want.
Rocky, son.
I don't keep the drone. The drone hovers above the house and drops on a through line, the product in a box, and then flies off. No, no.
That's cool.
It's coming to a city near you.
Yeah, you know, white folks is that you know it's like coming all the way down to the white folks, the white folks city. You know, look up there.
Now, how many using that service? You got Amazon stock?
I got Amazon stock, man. I got Google stock. I got Zipline stock.
So how fast is the
How
fast you talking?
5 to 10 minutes.
God damn. So you just bought it at the store?
Even lesser.
Yeah, it'll take you longer.
Man, that's pretty convenient.
Yeah.
Cause my thing is this, I hate my shit online. Like, my wife does, I hate. And I feel like if I gave you my money right now, like you're not gonna wait for it to get to me, then charge me. You're gonna charge me right now. So I need my shit right now. I haven't waited 2 weeks. Not all the time. What it is,
Yeah, that is correct.
You order your grocery online?
But yeah, for the past maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Because it's very traumatizing to do grocery shopping, and one must protect their mind because of the amount of options that you have, and plus the interactions you have with people. So
I think sometimes it's good.
Yeah, but they give you some bad vegetables. That's the bad part.
that's correct, Lee. That's true. So then, listen, you can return.
It's just trade-offs. Even if you go to the grocery store now, you're checking yourself out, which I don't like. You want to talk about the white person? I buy the material. I gotta check myself out. Look at something at the door to make sure I didn't steal. Well, you're gonna make sure I didn't steal. So like, a lot of the stuff I think we it's just crazy. You go to the store, like you could go to any store, any restaurant, now they got all these stupid
dangerous it is. Like, you almost get hit by a car and you're like, man, I'm taking food to someone's house. I almost just died, you know?
Right.
So eliminate people on the road, that's great. But some of the technologies
That's all like being a mailman. I'm walking in the neighborhood. I'm on the sidewalk.
You know?
One time,
They should do that for USPS. I think drone delivery would be great for USPS.
what if they drop it in different people's homes?
Oh, there's all sorts of horrible things can happen. I mean, it's an FAA. It takes a lot of coordination. That's why it's not in every state. Because it takes a lot of coordination if you have these things in the air. What if the drone dies and falls on someone's head?
What if you've ordered something super expensive?
Right.
What
I'll
you do?
run right under that motherfucker and give me a loss.
The technology exists right now for a lot of
Putting
people.
petrol thunder, I got hit by a drone.
Drop on me, drop on me.
You know people doing that shit.
Oh God, imagine death by droning. Literally.
Oh, your dad died. You know, he got hit by a drone.
I got hit by
You got a war? Oh man, Amazon, man.
I would think these drones would have been activated like years ago.
No, the technology exists. The problem is regulation. They've
Yeah.
got to really, because
That's the Democrats. Ever since the Trump administration came through, all this regulation came about. You know,
I think there's wisdom here because we have planes that crash into each other, so they really have to figure out how they can command the same airspace without colliding. I think they should slow walk it, definitely. So right now they're doing a lot of testing where I am. We've got like 6 companies that are flying medical supplies. I mean, think about it, man. Like someone gets bit by a cobra and the venom is far away. That kind of solves that problem, you know. So it is a good thing, but they shouldn't rush it because these companies are super greedy. They just want to make money. They want it on the road, and it's like, no, it's not perfect yet. Because, like you said, sometimes they deliver to the wrong house, you know.
Can you imagine like someone else's Vicodins being delivered to your house? Or the actual
It's the same thing now, though, right? How many times you go outside and it's like your neighbor's package?
Yeah.
So, or the delivery driver steals it.
Listen, one time delivery driver stole the blush I ordered with mascara. So it was bizarre. And then my building has what do you call this? Cameras, security cameras. So when I went and watched it with the management, the chick she's opened it, she's tested it on her hand, okay? Like, who would do that? And then she's she's just conveniently walked away with the package. She's seen the shade, like, look nice on her skin tone. She took the freaking package and scooted in a freaking Amazon van. Can you imagine?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I did delivery for years. Delivery people, they eat your food. They do all sorts of stuff, man. So.
Bro, my mom and dad had just arrived. I ordered a whole lot of like meat, they're meat eaters, and all kinds of Middle Eastern food, Mediterranean. This restaurant has like all 3 varieties. And they had just arrived, and I was like, okay, let's have a feast. And they're tired. They've flown for 12 hours. Freaking that thing never arrived. Again, went to the management, looked at the security camera. The ladies come all the way to my doorstep and walked away with the food. Just taken it and gone. So she's made the effort to come to the door. She's taken a picture, right? Hasn't rang the bell. And that was 300 something bucks of food. Picks it up and goes. Just like that. And then I felt bad. I didn't complain because I think she really looked very skinny. And I thought maybe
Don't do that. I don't like that. No, that's what you just went left. No compassion. Because you got family to feed too.
Yeah, maybe she.
Look, I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up in the city, but like I'm kind of hardened. I drive by a homeless person. You gotta just think like, hey, some of them aren't their job. Some of them that's their job because they're begging.
And I didn't call.
Hey, how's it going today? Y'all making money? I had somebody go do it. Like, if you grew up around it, you gotta know like, it's not everybody suffering. Some people are just in that situation because they choose to be. That's the truth.
Because it's food, right, Freeman? Like,
yeah.
Maybe she was hungry. Like, who does that? Maybe it was for her children. I could call my parents and don't call. It's okay. It's okay. She's taking for children. She's taking. A whole story was built around how she needed the food and how I shouldn't complain and stuff. But I mean, it happens, right? Like drones can also like whatever drop wrong food and different or wrong items.
I mean, she stole $300 worth of food.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. You know, the average. You know, everyone want to talk about poverty. What percent of Americans do you think live check to check? Do you guys know?
And that's
that is it. It's like a ridiculous number. It's like 70%.
Oh wow.
So if you stop and think about it, everybody's walking a tightrope in so-called one of the greatest nations in the world. So $300 is nothing to laugh at.
I also saw like about 80% of Americans don't even have $1,000 saving.
So any American, do you know how many people I drive by in the suburbs with like their car windows been broken for months? They don't have the money to fix it, you know? So, yeah, I think I get mad when I see people stealing because it's like, you don't know what we're going through. Yeah. Sometimes, I'm mean. Sometimes if I see someone coming up and I know their neighborhood, whatever, I'll be like, I ask them for money first.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you got any money? I was just about to ask you. Oh, okay. You know, you can't, I mean, I don't know, $300 they stole from you, Nargis? I can't accept that.
That called my family friends, this and that. Like, I thought they had just arrived, so maybe, like, we could have a feast. And, yeah, she drops the food, takes the picture, and just picks up the whole package and walks away. I mean, doesn't realize that the camera's all over the place. Kind of felt bad. That's why I thought maybe she was just ignorant about the cameras, or she's really maybe in need, or the smell of the food might have. So sad.
What's sad is that you lost $300.
Yeah, but I just considered it charity at that moment, and I said maybe like.
How do you know she had kids?
I don't know. We made that whole story up in our head. Me and my parents and then freaking charity giving. No, I guess it's good. She had family, she had to go family, she take it home. The whole freaking story was spun around. Like her rushing to her family to feed them.
Steal from the store.
Bro, I
Robin Hood stole from the rich and gave to the poor. Why she steal from you?
She was a junkie also a little bit. Like her eyes are all sunk because when Uber drivers drop off, they also like have to give you like picture of how they look and things like that. So when people complain, it's a legit complaint, right? Yeah, she looked like she was using, I think.
I saw this girl, I said video, so she ordered some food, her food got delivered, she ate her food, and then she said that the DoorDash driver didn't deliver her food, so she could refund.
That's messed up, bro.
And then the DoorDash driver went back to the place, which was the work. It was like, you fat ass bitch! It was hilarious.
She said she didn't get the food? Well, don't
I record the girl, and you see the girl is so fat. Like, you know she would have done that.
Oh my god. So wrong. DoorDash driver driving back to freaking complain about it.
Yeah, she was really mad because guy will give them like a bad review. Yeah. She was like, "This is my job. You over here lying so your fat bitch can't eat." Did
they have this on video? Is this real?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the video in the chat.
Hold on, I'm gonna see it.
Let me just cause my daughter crashing out.
Marcus, you there?
Yeah, Freeman.
Yeah, so I was doing delivery in DC. Yeah, I'm going fast. I just finished doing the delivery, is getting back on my scooter. Someone grabbed my shoulder, pulled me off, put a gun in my ribs, robbed me for my phone and my wallet. Now let me ask you, what story do I need to construct in my mind for why you needed to do that? You know what I'm saying? Because the good thing is, I was able to cancel the credit cards. I called to cancel the credit cards before I called the police. I'll tell you why in a second. I called to cancel my credit cards and debit cards because I know that's what he wants, right? The charges he tried to place on the credit cards were all from a company called Burberry. $600 worth.
Well, Burberry, he was freaking buying Burberry?
Can you imagine? This dude put a gun in my ribs and threatened my life so he could buy a Burberry scarf or whatever for $600.
Oh,
I know he was mad when he got on his stupid computer. I know, I grew up in that same city, so I know what the game is. I didn't even waste my time calling the police first. I called to get my cards canceled.
Dude, he wants to kill a father for freaking Burberry? What the fuck?
So when someone says,
it's not even a good brand.
There's like a thin line between stealing and killing. If you steal, you kill. It's the truth. So, like, my mind is like, you're indicted, but stuff like that, I could give you so many more stories. These things happen, and there's people who comply with people who do that and get killed. So this is the world we live in. It's hard for me to build sympathy for someone who's willing to do that, and then you're stealing from people you don't know what situation they're in, Like, growing up, you see people crying because they come outside, the car has been broken into. And that car is their one lifeline to get to work, We're supposed to worry about the person who did it? Nah. So, I think I'm scarred. That's what that is. I don't like, go through those experiences, you'd be like, no, I have no sympathy for someone who does that, because they know they're wrong.
Yeah.
They know they're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. They know they're wrong, and still they do it.
Still they do it. Some people do it, they don't know they're wrong. That's all they were taught. Like young kids, I've seen young kids stealing, I get that. But you're a grown person, either you're on drugs or something.
Yeah.
You're not doing it because you're bad. Because look, this is America too. There's so many homeless shelters and food giveaways. And one thing I give credit to the Muslims in my area, all the mosques, they give tons of food every Friday. Every Friday without fail. And you see the line going off the property, they're giving food. So people know where to get food, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'd be so mad, Marcus. Like, he did all that. And he's terrified.
For Burberry.
You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, I can't even afford a Burberry scarf.
For Burberry. Good lord. For a piece of, cloth, or a bag, or a jacket.
Let me finish the story. I had all that information. I called the police 3 days later. I said, here's what happened. Here's the street it happened on. here are the transactions. Here's where you try to withdraw the money. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, oh, you didn't die? No, we're not gonna waste time on this case. Like, so the criteria is, do you die? You know, well, how are they gonna help me if I die or get shot? You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god.
So, long story short, like, you tell me someone's story. No, what's the point? I only gave it to the police because I was interested to see. As I told you, I was interested to see what they would do. I didn't call them first. You know what I'm saying?
You should book a lawyer and sue the fucking cops.
Well, no, the thing is this. Police, they deal with crimes on a sliding scale. So, like, heartbreaking, they might not even come out. They might just tell you, you know, call your insurance. Where I live, you know, where I lived, I should say. It's not the same in Texas. There's less heartbreakings here because, you know, everyone's got a gun. There's less robberies and, you know.
Someone's supposed to protect you, right? So this is why, like, you catch up, you get a hold of the bigger part. So who's the one who's supposed to protect you under these conditions? Because the guy obviously has nothing. That's why he's stealing, the motherfucker, and he's probably doing it to a whole lot of other people.
A bunch of people. He gets a thrill out of it, obviously. I mean, now you also get a glimpse into his mind. Why is he stealing? Is it something that he needs? You know, like, not everyone is stealing because they, you know, it's like, okay. And guess what? He's stealing someone who's clearly doing food delivery. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is not, like, this was years ago, but it's not, if you were looking and saying, okay, let me rob this Mercedes, they can afford it, you know, that kind of, no, that's not the thinking that's going on. So you can't assume you can enter the mind of the person, that's the point I'm saying, who stole $300 from you. You can't. All you know is that they stole they don't even know how much the food was. They just saw an opportunity. It was a crime of opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, it's here. But, you know, they wouldn't have done it if it wasn't there. So that lets you know who they are. Sadly. You know?
You go to Burberry, obviously, because he's probably bought the product online. And if he'd gone to the store, what they'd probably ask was ID.
Do you notice that? To make it spiritual, do you notice the 10 Commandments just says, do not steal?
Yeah.
It doesn't give any ounce. It doesn't give any, you know what I'm saying? It's like, don't do it. Because there's no amount of the condition you're in can justify the act that you take that harms somebody else in that way. At the end of the day, there's poor people everywhere. Tons of them in all countries all over the world that aren't stealing. There's people in Iran who don't know where they're, or Nigeria, or wherever. They don't know where their next meal is coming from, you know? Literally.
So, in countries, so I always used to think that something happened to me some time ago, and I'm still like...
Wait a minute, I'm not Nigerian, okay?
So, I totally understand the punishment.
Oh, no, I know you're not.
Freeman, the punishment for stealing in Middle Eastern countries is basically the loss of hand, right? But it starts with, like, in Iran at least, it starts with the tip of your pinky, which they paralyze. So that the second time a person does it, it's just, they take the fingers off, and the third time your hand is out, so that you don't do it again, right? In Dubai, during the time that the year that we lived there, you could basically buy an entire store, leave the product in the middle of the mall, right? Walk away, come back in a month, and pick it up exactly from the same location.
That's very true. And I think that shows that,
it's not a good rule. Now, and people are very, I mean, it's human condition, right? Anyone can steal. For the whole freaking year, my family never locked their door. There's no need. We traveled in that year. That was the year my family decided to travel. We didn't lock our door ever when we left home. Nobody dared come in. It just doesn't happen.
And that's definitely, whenever there's a punishment that's that much, you really, if someone is stealing in that condition and they know that's what's at stake, either they're insane or they truly think they'll get away with the crime. So that makes sense. But what do we do with a country like Norway or Japan? money still in it, by and large, you know.
Same thing.
So,
If you're in my neighborhood, that's true. I live in a good white neighborhood, and we don't steal. No, I'm serious.
Overall racism, I never brought any race, you know. I'm just saying.
Oh, Japanese ain't a race?
That's a people, bro.
It's a culture. That's a nationality. That's not a race.
It's a culture.
Yeah.
It's a
You're
race.
No, it's not.
Oh, God.
It's all American, Smiler.
Let me tell you what's happening in Norway.
America has very safe places. I'm sick of this stereotype.
Yeah, my neighborhood is safe.
America has safe places, definitely. And guess what? People can safe places on purpose. Like I never.
Well, say it's so American because only Americans will say something like that.
Smiler, I live in a very, very safe neighborhood, and this still happens, like every now and then. Not just to me, but sometimes.
Yeah, that's probably black people from a couple neighborhoods.
Here we go.
There's nobody who's.
It's not the people in the neighborhood, that's for sure.
Such a racist.
What's the law? What does the law say about stealing, Smiler? What's the punishment in the Tanakh?
I think.
Restitution.
Yeah.
But you don't have to pay, according to you, you don't have to pay restitution because you don't follow that law. So
Oh yeah.
you steal and it's like bad, it's a sin, but you don't have to restitute.
There you go.
You don't have to reimburse nobody.
Hey man, I believe. Check this out. I believe the New Testament says very clearly that government has been given the sword not in vain. So I wish I could have called the police and they actually prosecuted crime. One of the reasons criminals are emboldened in the U.S. is that if it's not a felony, they're gonna be out in like what, half a day? If that. There's literally I literally knew people growing up who made sure to know those laws. Like, oh, I'll make sure I steal under $500. How crazy is that?
Oh yeah. It would be tripping. But in the Islam, it's the same thing. I mean, they have.
Listen, in countries like Morocco and Egypt. No, but in countries like Morocco and Egypt, you think it's safe, although like they still comply with the whole stealing laws and stuff like that, which I'm assuming. Fucking, you get ripped the moment like you get stolen the minute you go like see the pyramids.
There's a different kind of thievery.
It's a different kind of thievery. Shoes or something or the other is freaking lost. Now, it doesn't mean that thievery doesn't exist, although there is that kind of Sharia law. The Bible just implements it. Well, because of the bigger pot that people, live in, that hold bigger amounts of money, it can't afford as a country to go through that sort of fear of economic loss.
Welcome.
Right?
That's one of the reasons I don't like going to Nigeria. I tell people straight out, like, oh, I don't like it because, no, man, like, the police will stop you and be like, oh, God, hey, come on for some money. Like, what is going on, yo? How am I paying you money to drive on the road? They will set up roadblocks and they're like, oh, we haven't been paying. I'm like, yo, this is insane, and my family be like, you just gotta keep a little money, you got to break them off a little something. I'm like, in principle, this is insane.
Yes.
I'm driving down the road,
In India, Saturday night, when we go like clubbing or go to a concert, on the way back, if like there's a freaking, if anyone's drunk, they just stop people to get the alcohol from them, these cops. They say, what are you drinking? What kind of cigarettes do you have? And that's how bad it is. And you basically give him whatever, your drink, and then he lets you go.
It's like a cop toll to move around Nigeria. So, nah, I don't like that at all. That's for me, that's stealing also, That's stealing.
That's bribery and stealing. Kidding me?
Yeah.
That's stealing life off a person that this fucking drunkard is gonna hit and die.
Like, Nardis, where you been that you've had it's like that? India, you been to India and
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's not good to stick out.
Like when I go to Nigeria, they hear my accent. Oh no! All of a sudden, the price went up. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And you're freaking fare scared. You're sitting in a rickshaw for the experience of it, or you're just riding in onto the three-wheeler freaking taxi. First thing he'll ask is, "Madam, where you're from?" And then he like, "Yeah," and then I speak back in their local language because I learned it. No, but where you're really from? And then like, when you're off the rickshaw, every single time I've paid 3 times more than what everyone else gets charged. Just because I'm a foreigner in the land. Fucking rip off foreigners like anything. It's messed up.
Man,
I'm smiling. You thought you were with the motherland and it would be all love. You can't even get your, like in Nigeria though, one time they tried to hold my luggage hostage. I was like, in the airport?
damn.
The handler was like, yeah, oh God, come. I'm like, no, don't give me that, oh God. That means boss. I'm not your boss. You know what I'm saying? Give me my luggage. So what I do is I play dumb. That's like the best thing to do. Like I play like I have no understanding of that, you know? Like, cause they're speaking English to you. You know, like the Creole. I'd be like, nah, I don't know what you're saying, boss. I need my luggage though.
Let's not forget you always carry some amount of cash in your pocket, Smilo. It's because you never know who you need to bribe when. Yeah, that's exactly how it is.
And I guarantee you,
Target too.
all the people go to Mecca, because I read the articles, that's where they spend the most money.
Why is it?
Yeah, so what you gotta do is this is what you gotta do, right? So you gotta fold up the $20 bill in like a square triangle. You know what I'm saying? Like something you can just swing in. Because if you're pulling out money and you like peeling it off, then you're done.
You know it.
Try that. Like you're done. So just have the little cubes in your pocket.
That's right.
Whatever it is. This way you do the little cube thing. You just give them, like a drug exchange or whatever it is.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Nobody sees anything.
You put your hand on the
Nobody
shoulder.
sees anything. Exactly.
You put your hand on
Don't
the
you try
shoulder.
to peel off money trying to be cool guy, because then you're gonna get fucking ripped off. Yeah.
How do you know this shit?
I was doing better.
You.
Because I travel. What do you want? What?
So this is what it is.
The belt? You know about the belt money? The money in the belt?
Of course I do.
Hold it up.
Of course I do.
Yeah. They can rob you, but you got the money folded up in the leather belt with the.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, they don't know about that in Argus.
Sometimes you fold it like a rocket, right? The thing is, you put your hand on the shoulder. We still do that in the jewelry trade. It's all like just a handshake. So you put your hand on the shoulder, you get close to the back.
Yeah, then people want to be nice to you. You know what I'm saying? That's when people want to be nice to you. But if you're trying to be cool guy, peeling off money like that, they're like, oh, no, fuck this guy.
Always lay low. Always lay low.
I would give them some funny hadiths instead. They'll find some funny.
They're not gonna know them. They're gonna like, what the fuck you talking about?
No
they don't know these
one
hadiths. They don't know these hadiths, bro. What hadith? They're gonna look at you like
the people in the back. They don't
People
know
have
that.
intellectual discourse. No one knows this because of the information age. And freaking the biggest downfall I think that happened to the Hadith corpus was information age. It was everything being on the internet. People just type it in and it pops. They didn't know they had this shit for the longest time.
Margaret, where did Matthew Amir Richardson go, man? I want to hear his Cabainism now.
Matthew, bro, Raymond, they're on TikTok. It's still
Oh, they're on TikTok still preaching it?
Still
Wow,
preaching it.
they're bold.
They're doing very well too. They've developed a fan following.
Wait, well, so how are they praying?
there ain't nobody on TikTok, bro. Stop.
Are you serious?
Nobody on TikTok.
They praying
They
what's
told me
happening
they
in
are
prison now.
following people. They told me they are like
I
doing
gotta
so
say
well.
on the live. I have to say on the live. If I gotta say, then I don't belong in that fucking site. Straight up.
So they were telling me like, why don't you join TikTok? We're doing so well on it. I said, I don't want to support your political ideology, obviously. I don't know how I'm pushing it, man, Freeman.
And low after all the, summary executions of the people. I thought he was making chill out for a little.
But to be honest, like I had a talk with them and I said like, what is it that you're pushing? It's not the person per se. I think they're pushing like the ideology of the Republic, which played a role. Where there's like a philosopher king, he's wise, under him are wise men, and such intellectuals, much mass ruled society, which seemed to be the very intent of the revolution when it came about. And it flopped quite quickly because within the first year, there was the 9-year war that followed, right? So if I have to objectively look at it, I think they never got to exercise that. It just never blew. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
So
Yeah.
you work for it.
Think about it, like idealism and politics, theocracy and politics. Just two things that cannot be married, unless the ruler is a Jesus or a prophet or someone extremely pure with like high level of compassion, justice, etc. Otherwise, this philosopher king will always fail because of human condition.
A little jaded right now with philosophy in general when they see the outworking of, if Hermione falls in that category, he's going right, I'm going left. That's how people are looking at it.
Freeman, if you read his work, at least his mysticism, right? He was a big fan of Aquinas, a big fan of Ibn Arabi, and within the first year, he was like feared, mostly by all like traditionalist Muslims in his own country and outside of it. So it seems like he did come with some sort of revolutionary thinking in order to better the world. In fact, he did initially start to extend his hand out to the Arab countries around him who were already like pretty much subjugated by the West and were booty clapping for it. So it didn't work. This thing just didn't work out for him. Now, did he go cray after that? Yeah, I think not just he, but his cabinet. It was something that never ever came to fruition for whatever reason, right? But I think the brethren are saying that he intended for such a thing, and such a thing is possible, and it's called a noocracy. So this system of noocracy is what they hold to like politically. Now, whether it works or not, bro.
Yeah, I think the biggest part, I can't speak, Persians have to speak for themselves, but I don't like the idea of, who I am being swallowed by an ideology that maybe is not necessarily foundational. You know what I'm saying? There was something called Persia before there was Islam. And I'm not saying that religion or truth doesn't speak to even who you are. It does. I'm just saying it doesn't destroy it either.
I agree.
It's hard to see Persians today. They don't even use the word anymore, right? Maybe they do in passing.
We do, very much we do. Like, we use it in California a lot. Like, I introduce myself as a Persian. I don't introduce myself as an Iranian for the longest time, right? Simply because I don't want to show, like, solidarity with the freaking government. However, like, if you look at our history, from the very beginning, whoever came and invaded and overtook us, we embraced it. Like, there's a very interesting girl on one of these Iranian rooms that I go to, who was saying we took everyone's culture, religions, philosophies, we eat it up, we chew it up, and what we spit out is something that looks highly creative and a new version of that thing. And it's true. This sort of inclusivity allowed for the Persian Empire to expand the way it did. Because if including language. Like here the Afghans speak Dari, which is the original Farsi. And here, like someone like me or Sela, for example, speak Farsi. It sounds Frenchy, it sounds German, and it's simply because of the inclusivity and the freaking intake, which we don't have any.
Yeah, that's a good thing, but you meant the final boss. Islam is the final boss that, like,
Right.
yields the least amount of ground. So, like, look, let me give a concrete example. My Persian friend, who was my best man in my wedding, right? He told me one time, oh, yeah, God is Khuda,
Khuda,
But he said, now, when he travels to Iran, he said he slowly noticed over time people would be like, greet with Allah instead of Khuda. It never was an issue when he was younger,
It's
So, like, there's like, and then me also speaking another language, I don't think God, yes, we know who the name of God is in Christianity, but, like, people are going to call out to God from within a cultural context,
Correct.
It's like in Yoruba, like, the creator of the universe is known as Eleda, And we had no problem when Christianity came. In fact, the missionaries were very careful to say, that creator is, you know what I'm saying, Hashem. Right? So, like, it's not removing from where people are. Whereas I feel as though, like, there's an imposition being made on the Persians right now that, like, they kind of have to decide what direction they want to go. And they are deciding, because you see a lot of,
the
Persian.
Yeah, and religion has become such a crass thing now to even adopt or talk about simply because of the policing, But the Ottoman rule didn't do well for Persia simply because of the black and whites. There was no art and freedom in that, which is the very vein of a Persian. I was telling Daniel this a couple of days ago. So even then, Islam was taken, chewed up, and spat out as Shia Islam, right? That which allows for imagery and color, allows for music and whatnot. So, and Sufism, and all of these mystical traditions that arose from Persia, even that was transformed into something else. What the regime basically was to subjugate in terms of policing, which I think they should have done.
Do you think if Saladin met Sam Shimon and Sam Shimon went through time, do you think it would change his ways?
Yo, what?
Imagine Saladin, he's trying to storm the walls of Jerusalem, and Sam Shimon brings like a mega speaker back in time, and he starts reading these funny hadiths to him.
Did he get it in English? I think there'd be a language barrier there.
Sam Shimon can speak Arabic.
Can he?
Yep. That
makes it different. Okay. Yeah, I think he would be. Shamsun would probably be slain in under 30 seconds. Saladin really didn't play that much. You know what I'm saying? We got a nice, gentle image of Saladin. He didn't play that much. But coming back to Persia for a second, Vargas, I 100% agree with you. Let me get now we're talking about hadiths, right? I think, correct me if I'm wrong here. I have a question. Was Farsi a written language when Islam came, or did they have a writing system?
Yeah, I think so.
It's hard to know, right?
It's hard to know.
Because I know the Shia Muslims, their hadiths. Well, first of all, the Sunnis that are Persian wrote in Arabic, but I'm thinking even the Shia sages wrote in Arabic.
Yeah, the script was pretty much common in the region, Freeman. Like even Farsi is written in the Arabic script. However, we have more letters like je, pe, ge. These are words that do not exist in Arabic. Like Pepsi is written as Pepsi. Yeah.
What do you think about the fact that King Cyrus is written in the Bible and it's kind of extolled? Is that like a point of pride? Is that like a passing thing?
No, of course. Christians are well embraced and very loved within Iran, including the Jews. It's a system in which coexistence has been a very strong factor because we are nationalists, we're not tribalists like the Arabs. So you will never find a Persian ever tell you, or an Iranian ever tell you, I am just a Kurd. He will first introduce himself as an Iranian. And then if you pick up on his accent. In Farsi, he might tell you, oh yeah, I'm from that region where the Kurds came and were dwelling. So in that way, we've always had an upper hand in the Middle East so far as like a oneness sort of theme, an ummah of Iranians versus like how the ummah system, I think, sort of failed within the Middle East, although I think it was a very great thing that they tried the pan-Arabism, but it's too tribal, man, Freeman. It's so built on who your father's was, similar to, I think, the Jewish community. It's not that different.
I got a good question. Do you think there's a possibility that start making AI-generated videos of Sam Shimon doing his evangelical work with a mega speaker back in time with Saladin being outside the Jerusalem walls? It's like Sam Shimon's out there with a megaphone. Do you think there would be a following for that?
Man, you're gonna have such a group of people flock to you who are like you. It's gonna be like amazing. But Nargis, the tribality, man, I don't know, man. I think we're designed to be tribal.
Agreed.
As human beings.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that enough.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree. In fact, tribe succeeds simply because we take care of our communities, etc. But I think, although we're designed to be that, we're also designed to kill. We're also designed to steal. It's not that we don't have it within us, the potential, right? We choose not to. So in doing so, we're ascending from our
I could put my foot on.
Yes. Mute your mic.
When I say design, Nargis, I mean that, like, obviously there's like the Yoruba tribe or Kurdish tribe. That's from God. There's no doubt about it, you know? The question is, what do we do with it? Like, how do we live amongst each other? I think Islam is one of the reasons why Islam makes more incursions as a religion than any other religion is that it's like tribalism met religion, you know, because there are physical, you know, what makes someone a tribe? The way you speak, the way you dress, right? But Islam has all that. You know?
But it has it under one system. Exactly. It's a plumber in itself, right? So, but it does seem to encourage. Actually, it does encourage kind of oneness of humanity, songs, color, language, region, geography, etc. And I think that was the very intent of historical Muhammad, to come and preach this simply because tribalism was so extreme. Much like Buddha came to overcome like the freaking high priests in the caste system that had developed in Hinduism. That he was like, no, we're all equal in the sense that they're spiritual beings, etc. So even verses in the Quran that I've read where it says, your position on earth is based on your piety, not the color of your skin or your tribe or your language. I think this is a great advantage and an attractive point in Islam and Christianity as such. Judaism too follows such laws, however, keeps it within the Jew community. And
I think that like there are pros and cons to uniformity.
Yeah, I agree.
So if you mean that like Islam came to have everyone be one in a certain respect, like in dignity, for instance, I think that's a pro. But when you mean that everyone should be one in dress, you see what I'm saying? We have an issue. Okay, you're meeting people, for instance, that wear no clothes. How do you bring Islam to them? They don't wear clothes because they're not savage. They don't wear clothes because they're in the Amazon, for instance. And this is the best way to live here, right?
Right. But even with clothes, right? So even with clothes, it's not that it's saying no to the culture. In fact, it talks about how one must like encourage each other's culture and language. But it does seem to like place a standard for modesty, for example, which again, you might make the argument that this might fail because in the Amazon, for example, in the forest, women who, show their breasts or shake their boobies and walk without ever finding that to be absurd or even immodest, that works within that culture, right? It is not like when I groping her or sexually abusing her because of the way she is. That is just the norm of the place. One could make the argument that, yeah, but I think it was addressing like a majority position, wherein like a family system can be held well if some sort of modesty is maintained both from men and women.
Yeah, I think if you're speaking of modesty from a morality principle, yes.
Yeah.
Whatever is immodest within that cultural context should be avoided.
Correct.
I'm just speaking about the strict letter of the law. Now, this one I'm gonna get on Not Smiler. I call him Not Smiler. Because he Not Smiler says everyone should be circumcised. Not Smiler?
Because Smiler's dying to get in some kind of dogma structure in Christianity, which I don't blame him, bro. Smiler,
I'd love to know what A thinks about this. A, what do you think about this?
Sorry, I just came back about what?
Do you think everyone who becomes a Christian is supposed to be circumcised?
Like a grown man?
Look, I'm just speaking about the law y'all say y'all keep. I'm keeping it real.
So from what my understanding of what the New Testament is saying is that you don't have to be circumcised to come to Christ because the law of circumcision is on the 8th day anyway. So you can't even keep that law if you're grown and not circumcised. But I believe that Christians that have children, that have boys, should circumcise their boys.
As a matter of religious principle, or do you believe that's a matter of, like, how do you believe it? Like, remember, I'm speaking in terms of, if God commands us to water baptize when we come to a saving knowledge of Christ, that's a command that's like, hey, if you don't do this, you're out of order. You know what I'm saying? Do you put circumcision in that same category?
That's what I'm saying. So if someone is already grown, they can't keep that law because the law says to be circumcised on the 8th day anyway. So if you're like 30, you know,
Yeah. We're not talking about infants. I'm talking about a child, and you're a parent.
I think Christians should circumcise their children. Yes, 100%. But I wouldn't say, hey, if you don't circumcise your child, you're going to hell. And I wouldn't say nothing like that, you know.
Yeah.
But I believe children should be circumcised. Boys, of course.
Yeah, I just look at circumcision, like, from what I see, I could be wrong here. I'll say that readily, but what I see is, in Acts 15, the Judaizer stood up and says, unless the Gentiles get circumcised and keep the law of Moses,
they can't be saved.
No, they can't be saved.
Yes, that's exactly what they said.
Hold on, Acts 15. Acts 15, it says in... Where is it? Hold on. Okay. Verse 5. The Gentiles must be circumcised and required to keep the law of Moses. See that?
Read verse 1.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Verse 1 says that unless you are circumcised according to the custom of Moses, you cannot be saved. Right. But the people who are saying that in verse 1 are not the same people talking in verse 5.
1 second, let me open the chapter with.
Yeah. This is where I jammed Not Smiler up the other day.
Yeah, what are you reading, Freeman?
We're at Acts 15. We're jamming up the Judaizers today. What's up, Zach?
Snaps. Alright. So Acts 16 is where you did it?
1-5.
Acts 16, 1 through 5.
Man, I said 1-5. I'm about to fight you.
Acts 15.
15.
Okay, what verse?
Well, let's just start with the first section, right? I'm saying the first thing I just said is the people speaking in verse 1 are not necessarily the people speaking in verse 5.
Okay, that's fine. But I think it's the same idea. I think the idea here is if you don't keep the law of Moses, you can't be saved, which I believe is wrong, you know.
I think that's the main issue.
So why then later on when they send the letter out? Because they send a letter out in
21?
verse 23. It says to the Gentile believers in Antioch, Syria, and Sicilia, we have heard that some went out from us with our authorization disturbed you, troubling your minds by what they said. And
that's the point. The point is they're saying the thing that is troubling the Gentiles is because these people are saying if you don't keep the law of Moses, you can't be saved. If you don't get circumcised and keep the law, you can't be saved. So this is troubling the Gentiles because now they're thinking like, oh, am I really saved in Christ if I'm not circumcised? And just how that. You see this in Galatians too.
Okay, let me ask you about verse 2. You see verse 2? The second verse. It says, this brought Paul and Barnabas into sharp dispute and debate with them. What were they disputing and debating?
They were disputing and debating if the Gentiles need to be circumcised to be saved, because the thing about circumcision in the Old Covenant is that circumcision was absolutely necessary to enter the covenant, right? So if you wasn't circumcised, you was not part of the covenant at all. So if you were a Gentile and you try to come and serve the God of Israel, you had to be circumcised. Right, but so I think that's what they're discussing, because they're like, well, are they really in the covenant of Christ if these people are not circumcised? That's what they're disputing about.
So if this whole chapter is about being saved, how come the letter doesn't address salvation?
It does in the first verse. This is the claim. That's the claim. If you don't get circumcised and keep the law of Moses, you can't be saved.
So are you saying that when it says you are to abstain from food sacrificed to idols, from blood, from the meat of strangled animals, this is what you need to do to be saved?
Nope. What I'm saying to you, wait, give me that verse. Let me read that verse.
So verse 29 tells them what they need to do. Why do they need to do? Yeah. Why do they need to do that?
Okay, because those are the things that. Okay, because these people. I don't want to call them pagans, but yeah, they were pagans, right?
What, the Gentile believers? Don't do that.
Yes, they were. They were pagans.
They were.
They're not pagans.
Now they're believers. They've been washed.
Yes.
Okay.
But what I'm saying to you, it's like these people been pagans their whole life, right? And now they're coming to the faith of Messiah. So what happens is, it's basically, okay, before I move on, do you agree with me that the verse you just mentioned, it's a starter pack?
That's what I'm trying to find out, because I'm trying to see if I need to do not the starter pack. I need to do verse 20.
It is starter pack.
29?
Yes, you have. Because the reason why it says a starter pack is because all of you would agree with me that there's way more commandments than these ones that as a Gentile you must do.
In the Old Testament, yeah.
See, this is
even in the New Testament. Even in the New Testament, because Acts verse 20. Yes.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. I want to be clear on something. Are you saying by the term starter pack that they gotta start here, but they really need to eventually keep the whole law of Moses?
That's exactly what the text says.
This is so crazy. Okay. So why didn't you just say keep the law of Moses?
Because but this is what I'm telling you, because these people have been pagans their whole life. They're just coming to the faith. They're babies in the faith. Just like Paul said, if you're a baby, you cannot chew meat. You have to be on milk. So they can't just be like, hey, you gotta keep the whole law of Moses. No, you start little by little. So they start with these commandments, which is like, don't sacrifice things to idols, don't eat blood, don't commit sexual immorality. And then if you read chapter 21, it says because the law of Moses is preached every Shabbat. So if they're going to the synagogue to hear the law of Moses, it's because they're going to learn with time. Because verse 21 doesn't talk about bestiality. Does that mean Gentiles can't commit bestiality? No. They're going to learn as they go.
No, see, this is my argument. So then my argument is that. Oh, go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So then you're saying, then the new covenant is the same as the old covenant.
No, she's saying that the new covenant creates an on-ramp for Gentiles to have a starter pack and get their way to full-on Mosaic Judaism.
Yeah, I mean, that was already part of the old covenant as well. So what's the difference?
Not the starter pack.
The starter pack was
When the Jews had to put him on Sinai,
No, the starter pack is not part of this.
The starter pack was a part of. Yeah. I'm just saying the starter pack was a part of people coming and strangers coming into the land. Starter pack.
No, you're thinking of either the Noahide Code, which was for strangers to maintain a standard, but it wasn't like encouraging them to join Judaism. Or you're talking about like someone did adopt Judaism by circumcision. This is attempting to have a new means of joining into the covenant without having circumcision. That's a new concept. The Noahides are not part of the covenant.
Exactly. And for you to be saved and have salvation in Jesus, you have to be part of the covenant.
Sure.
So,
we're talking about joining the covenant, right? And so foreigners and strangers coming into the land of Israel, in order to join the covenant, they would have to get, that would be the starter pack, would be getting circumcised.
No.
Circumcision wasn't the starter pack for.
No, I'm saying circumcision. The circumcision would put them in a covenant, yeah, but this is not talking about circumcision. This is talking about.
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh.
What I'm saying is there is a starter pack for Gentiles in the old covenant to come into the covenant.
But that's not a starter pack, that's just the whole deal.
Yeah, they just took the whole deal.
No,
that's straight up circumcision.
Okay, yeah, but what I'm saying is that, listen to what I'm saying. The difference is a foreigner and a stranger didn't grow up under the Mosaic covenant. So as they're coming in, they're going to need to start somewhere. So circumcision was the starter pack. Keeping the Sabbaths, those are starter packs. Then
No, that's full-on conversion.
That's full-on
You don't do that
conversion.
until you're Jewish.
No, yeah, but they don't learn everything all at one time. Would you
I'm
agree?
saying, listen, what I'm trying to say is that a non-Jew that lives in Israel under the Mosaic Code, he is expected to obey the 7 laws. He has to follow those. Anything else he does is optional. He decides to get circumcised, keep the Sabbath, and be a full-on Jew, at which point he is.
Yeah, so the reason why.
What she's arguing is that Jesus is preaching not to just non-Jews that happen to be in the land of Israel. She's saying that Jesus is coming with a new on-ramp for everyone in the entire world. And the on-ramp does not require circumcision. Instead, it requires refraining from sacrificing to idols, no eating of blood, and then you're going to eventually get to full-on Mosaic law, but you're going to be in the covenant before you even do the circumcision. That's her understanding, and it's a fair read.
Okay. Oh, hold on. One thing. She said, hey, I don't want to speak for you, but she said that if someone is a Christian, the child should be circumcised on the 8th day as a matter of religious obligation. Okay? So she's not, that's, I just want to bring that caveat. That's what launched this conversation. Now, I want to ask you, hey, when you read the passage with Paul, is it Peter talking? He said that the Gentiles were given the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And he said that showed that God accepted them. How do you understand that? It's not a gotcha. I just want, like, is it that they're accepted before they do any of the law?
Yeah.
And then in doing the law, they remain accepted? Or what are you saying here?
Yeah, they're accepted before they keep the commandments because they're accepted because they have faith in Christ. So having faith in Christ is what puts you inside of the covenant. Once you're inside of the covenant, you're going to keep the commandments of God. But for you to enter the covenant, you don't have to keep any commandments. You just have your faith in Jesus Christ.
Okay, so what do you mean when you say you must keep the commandments and the laws?
Okay.
It's just a matter of you've entered the covenant, and out of love and duty to Hashem, you keep the commandments and the laws. That's what you mean, right?
Yeah, I mean that too, but I mean more than that. So in the covenant of Christ, okay, so for example, Jesus, right? I believe Jesus is sinless. He never broke any law, right? But Jesus kept the law not to be righteous. He kept the law because he was righteous. Because the Bible says, he who's righteous does wrong. There's no way that you're a righteous person and you don't practice righteousness, and we know the law is righteous. So once you've been made clean and righteous by the blood of Christ, you're going to keep the law of Moses because it's a righteous thing to do. You're not doing it in order to be saved. No, you're doing it because that's the right thing to do. Does that make sense? Because faith without works is dead. So if you have faith in Christ, I have to see your faith through your works.
The part that makes it difficult is that line that says, notice how they say, then some of the believers who belong to the party of the Pharisees stood up and said that Gentiles must be circumcised and required to keep the law of Moses. Now, you're saying that the new covenant does not require circumcision, right?
To enter it, yes. Yes.
But then that means you agree with them. You actually agree with this statement that, in a sense, the Gentiles must be circumcised and required to keep the law of Moses. You agree with them, bro?
No, I'm saying.
You don't agree with them.
No, I'm saying as a grown man, if you don't get circumcised, you're still saved. You don't have to get circumcised to be saved. But once you enter the covenant through faith in Christ, you should be keeping God's law. I'm not saying circumcision because circumcision is on the 8th day anyway. So you don't got to keep that law. However, you should get your children circumcised because that's the right thing to do.
When your children are circumcised, are they keeping the law or are you keeping the law?
We are keeping the law, and that's the reason why that's the reason why when you get baptized, you have godparents. And your godparents.
Who said both of them?
I don't know. It was
Smiling.
So you have godparents that's supposed to make sure that you keep up.
You, son?
I suggest everybody to next Wednesday get their ashes. You know what I'm saying? Get your ashes. You can go at night if you don't want to walk around with ashes on your head all day, right?
Can you explain to us the whole ritual from the beginning?
No.
So their ashes.
Oh gosh.
Okay, all right. Sorry. We don't gotta do that. But listen. From the book that I posted about the laws, I actually asked it this very question, and I'm gonna post from the book. Yeah. From the book, and because this is just really interesting.
Do you believe in pedo baptism, child baptism?
No. I don't believe in that.
Why you gotta call pedo baptism, bro? What the fuck kind of shit is that?
Yeah, pedo just means baby.
Pedo just means child, man.
But you know, man, come on, you don't do that, man.
Okay, well,
I don't believe that.
the reason I asked you that question, is that, like, it seems as though if you're saying that I should have my child circumcised, which is a sign, on the 8th day, pedo baptism is very similar. That's one of the sacraments that all the church agrees on, right?
No, that's not in the Bible. So that is not a law that God gave.
No, when I say pedo baptism, I meant baptism. Sorry, baptism is one of the sacraments everyone's agrees on.
But the point is, Say it again. Speak and feel it. So you repeat again.
Baptism.
I would disagree, and I would say it's not the same thing because circumcision, God Himself said that. So we can't compare that to church tradition, right? Because the point of baptism is for you to be born again. So every single person within the Bible getting baptized are grown-up people that decide to put the old man away and be a new creature under Christ. A child doesn't understand that. So only a grown-up can truly be born again and truly decide to follow Jesus because they have making a conscious choice. Okay, I don't want to live wickedly. I want to follow my Messiah, and so I get baptized.
This is incredible. Circumcision is a sign of the first circumcision was a sign of entry to the covenant.
Circumcision was the sign of the Abrahamic covenant.
Oh, I see what they say. They're trying to say that baptism's also a sign, so even babies should get it.
Well, if that's the case, you should see a book, chapter, verse. It's really not simple.
It is. Well, I mean, if you're saying So
Well, if we're going to be hypocrites and use the Tanakh, then yeah, we do that.
Stop it. What we're saying is, Smiley being polemical again, man. We're not Muslims.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
He
He just can't help himself. So we see.
You know how you'd be like, they want to eat that pork, so I want to keep that law, man. I want to keep that law.
I don't, but if you believe in the law, like general,
I'm not saying keep the law. I'm not calling Jesus a liar.
He's all right. Because I asked her 7.
Liars. That's what I want you to do.
I want to hear A's question because I asked her 7. What do you want?
I was gonna ask. Oh yeah, but Jason wanted to say something first. Sorry, go on.
Oh my God, Jason.
Well, I gotta find the verse, but there is a verse that states that baptism is the new circumcision of the covenant.
Hey, let's get it.
Yeah, but that still wouldn't make your point because
The thing is bringing up
so you're basically saying that children can sin. You can't impute sin on a child. So baptizing a child doesn't make any sense because the child doesn't sin.
We're not saying, well, you don't get baptized because you're a sinner. You're baptized because you're entering into the covenant.
Remember, yeah, you said the
Why do you enter the covenant?
Because you're not in the covenant.
Hey, that's what we're saying.
Then why aren't you in the covenant? That's the point.
Because you believe.
Well, you're not.
Can't
You believe in Christ.
Yeah,
And Christ preaches righteousness.
But hey, similarly to when Abraham had to get sacrificed and everybody in his house because they weren't in covenant at that moment until he gets the circumcision, then he enters the covenant with God.
Can you be saved without baptism?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So it's not the covenant then.
Yeah, can you be saved without circumcision?
In the new covenant, yes.
In the old
absolutely.
covenant. In the old covenant.
In the old covenant, you don't even enter without circumcision.
Okay,
that's the point.
But you're shifting the goalposts. I'm saying.
Repeat your point, Jason. That was a good point.
Can you be saved without being circumcised or being in the covenant?
1 second. You asking in the covenant of Christ?
I'm saying in the old covenant.
There's no salvation in the old covenant.
Alright, well, listen, I'm not gonna.
Where's the salvation in the old covenant? There's no salvation.
The salvation.
You just keep the laws and that's it.
Yeah, I would say the old covenant points to what salvation is in the new covenant.
Abraham believed God and it was credited to him as righteousness.
That's the same thing you do. When you believe Jesus, it's counted to you as righteousness. But once you've been made righteous, you gotta keep righteous things. You gotta keep the law of God.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing as entering into a covenant.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that in the new covenant, the baptism replaces circumcision.
Hey, let's ask a really important question. Is circumcision in the new covenant, is not entering into any covenant. It's just keeping the law.
Yes, you're not getting circumcised to enter the covenant. Because the circumcision law is on the 8th day. Like, you guys keep missing that point. It's on the 8th day.
It depends what we're talking about because the Mosaic law,
we're talking about the law of Moses. That's what we're talking about. So according to the law of Moses, circumcision is on the 8th day.
I don't know if that's what's on the table. Let me tell you why. The people of this in Acts 15 said you must be circumcised and keep the law of Moses. But the law of Moses is part and parcel of the circumcision. Why would they be redundant?
Because they're saying in a sense of like, hey, if you need to do circumcision, meaning once you do circumcision, you're not in the covenant. And now you're in the covenant, now you got to keep the law of Moses. They basically treating these Gentiles as proselytes. Like, you got to fully convert into this.
So it's a double covenant? It's a double covenant?
No, it's not a double covenant.
Yes, it is. You're telling me I need to get circumcised and I need to be baptized.
Who's saying that you need to get? I never said no grown man has to be circumcised. What you guys talking about?
No, we're talking about as a child.
Yes, your parents should circumcise you.
Okay, so that's one covenant, and then later on, you're just not still fully in the covenant yet because you haven't been baptized in. So it's a double covenant. As a woman, you really don't have skin in the game on this. You gotta let the man.
I don't really care about it.
Yeah, there's no pun intended. No skin in the game, no pun intended. We gotta get in the game on this, man. You know, I gotta get this right too, because you don't even know where I stand, Hank. You know what I'm saying? My baby could be 7 days old. I might have 24 hours, Hank. You don't know that.
Your wife better pull out that shank real quick.
I wasn't playing, but that was the first covenant. And see, this is what's so beautiful about this. We can have this conversation. Nobody's at each other's throat because it's not salvific. We all agree. This is not a salvation issue. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all been doing the faith alone too much. Y'all been doing the faith alone way too much, man. That faith alone.
Faith alone doesn't save you. We know
That
that.
shit you ain't got caught up. That shit be getting you caught up. That's the problem.
Right, but it doesn't save you.
Hey, keep going for us Protestants, man. We're ready. We got our solar fide on deck.
You ain't got no solar fide. That's crazy.
Faith alone can save you.
Show me where Jesus says sola fide.
So you guys are mixing things up. Man. Be saved and not be in the covenant.
Yes, you can.
This is Old Testament and New Testament.
I'm saying you can be in the covenant and not be saved.
Let me ask a question.
And you vice versa. I'm saying.
Because there's people that believe in Jesus, they're in the covenant, but they're still gonna go to hell.
Yeah.
So you have the Holy Spirit.
They're not in the covenant then. What you
They are though, because they have faith in Christ. They're casting demons in the name of Jesus. They're doing things.
If you're in the covenant, you're part of the agreement, and the agreement was that if you believe in Christ, then you go to heaven. That's the covenant.
Okay, no, that's not the only. That's not the only agreement. You can't just believe in your head. I believe in Jesus, and you're going to heaven.
That's that faith alone. I'm telling you, so.
You don't do that. So I believe in Jesus, but I'm gonna go fornicate. I'm gonna go kill him. I believe in Jesus. I'm in the covenant.
All right, hold on.
That's some Muslim shit right there.
Here's the verse, Colossians 2. It says, "In him also you were circumcised with a circumcision made without hands, putting off the body of the flesh by the circumcision of Christ, having been buried with him in baptism, in which you were raised with him through faith in the powerful working of God, who raised him from the dead. And you, who were dead in your trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh, God made alive together with him, having forgiven us of our trespasses, by canceling the record of debt that stood against us with its legal demands. He set aside, nailing it to the cross. He disarmed the rulers and authorities and put them to open shame by trampling them over them. So we see that the baptism is replacing circumcision, physical circumcision.
I don't see that.
Well, it says, okay, so he's saying here, baptism circumcises your heart.
But that's the point, though. But this is what I'm saying. He's saying that once the baptism, you're born again, right?
No, he did say born again.
But that's the circumcision of the heart. Once your heart is circumcised, you were born again because Megatron, you're the only heretic here, bro. Don't start. Like, go pray to Mary or something.
What it's saying is we're being baptized into his death, burial, and resurrection, which is the covenant.
Which is to be born again.
I mean, that's a different argument, but sure.
Right.
Like, I don't want to get into the born again details, but
can you follow Jesus without being born again?
Can you follow Jesus? Yeah, you can follow Jesus and not be born again. Yeah.
No. I'm saying based on what he said in Colossians, that can you be buried and risen with Christ without being born again?
Can you be buried and risen with Christ without?
Yeah.
No.
But right. So that's what I'm saying. So when your heart is circumcised, that means you have the love of God in your heart.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Right. So once you have the love of God in your heart, you're just gonna walk in righteousness.
Yep,
that is the circumcision of the heart.
I agree.
Okay, that's my understanding of the text. I don't see this as saying, hey, you don't need to get circumcised in the flesh at all. Like, I don't see it.
I just wonder, with the Pauline verses, like, I'm thinking off the top of my head. Again, I really want to know what you think. It's not me catching anyone.
Which one?
When he says something along the lines of, wherever God found you,
so much.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not really into flannel.
What are you into?
You know, marijuana.
I'd like to know.
Marijuana, the arts, you know.
Sounds good so far.
Plants. I like plants. I like to eat food.
Okay, keep talking.
I don't know. I don't like driving.
I know.
Are you ready to get what do you call it? A robot chauffeur or what?
I mean, honestly, you know that like you have to pay extra for the Tesla to drive itself, right? Like even though they have that in them, that like you don't just get that as like a feature.
It's $100 a month.
Yeah, so like that's weird. And
Well, it depends on what
also
you're driving.
sometimes the lane tracing is fucked up, and like my car will try to, I don't have a Tesla, but my car will try to kill me. So I don't know how I feel about, okay, like what are you doing?
Would it be kind of like steering you were me last time? Let's see how you handle this.
So in this case, the Tesla will tell you if it sees some fucked up changes in lanes, it'll say grab the fucking steering wheel because
Yeah, my car does that too, and an alarm goes off. It tells you like lane tracing unavailable ahead. Grab the wheel, and I'm like, well, that's fucking unhelpful.
Yeah, but it's only for a short period, and it just catches it again and says no.
Oh, there are a lot of people who say, hey, I prefer a digital chauffeur that can drive my car instead of me driving because people lose their shit too much on the road.
Like in my case, the way I no, but like the case where I
Yeah, go ahead, Raph. You were gonna make the point.
no, you go. I'll go after.
Just depending on how far your commute is, it could be well worth $100 to be able to work while you're supposed to be driving.
Well, especially me, I drive like a fucking maniac. Once I use my phone, I'm smoking cigarettes, I'm drinking coffees, I'm eating, like I'm literally steering with my leg. For other drivers and myself around, it would be better if I had full FSD, full self-driving mode on, compared even like trusting me to do everything simultaneously.
We don't trust you to do anything.
Because a lot of people on the road do a lot of stupid things, and this can help kind of the safety for others.
Is that an admission of guilt or just talking from experience? Which is it?
And then some people do all the stupid things, and we call them rapping.
Exactly. I do all the above. So I can
I could just see Rafi now telling his bot, hey, do this. Stop paying attention to the rules.
He needs to get a bot, you're right.
And after you do what I say fuck my life so I don't have to.
He does need a bot.
Hello? Hello?
Cars drive me nuts. Oh.
guys, you know it's long weekend, it's family day this weekend.
What?
It's also President's Day coming up.
I just found out today, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I'm off all of next week.
You're lucky, man.
Yeah.
Is it like winter break or something?
Yeah, they have
Word on
February break.
Monday.
And my birthday falls during that week, so
Oh,
that's
shit.
When's your birthday early?
the 20th.
Okay, well, happy birthday, girl.
Hey.
We'll have to do something.
It's gonna be legal.
Oh, I'm way over legal.
Are you a legal beagle?
Just making sure you're of age now.
I'm
It's always a big deal.
almost
Yeah, the greatest
37.
show far. Don't
Are
forget.
you afraid that Heather's underage, Ruben? Is that what it
No.
is?
She might be too old for you.
I am too old.
reaches out. Hey, Jeff, you missed some of the fun stuff. Sorry.
What fun stuff?
Well, it's been a little while since I've seen you, and I was going to say that about to start construction on part of my house, which you've been witness to. Its formations, and Catherine is taking a slightly different job at her company and getting a house in San Francisco, and that's what's going on.
Nice.
Yeah.
So my slightly different job, it's like 5% less responsibility and.
It doesn't. She would have an office in San Francisco where she would be expected to go and not travel, and that's already radical. That's a radical shift.
Yeah. So instead of being stuck in all the other cities you're not in, she's just going to be stuck in one city you're not in.
Yes, but the city I want to go to, and she'd have a place that I would want to be in. Yeah.
That's improvement.
I mean, it's improvement. This is really my point. Isn't that I've reached the goal because she does continue moving the goals, and I am a pussy about it. But
There is hope.
She's definitely there is progress being made, and I've insisted on continuous progress, and she's up for it. She said that she could do that. So, in fact, I sent her a list. I sent her a list of what I need for her to be doing, or I'll break up with her. And she was like, "Great, I love lists."
Way to hold your ground, Ruben. Way to hold your ground.
I like that.
It's a very fluid city, okay? But yeah.
Ruben, you sent it by email?
No, I texted it to her.
In society, because my tweet.
We choose to trust you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Earlier this week I received a text and asked me if I would take the time to speak tonight, and if I would like to. I'm always honored to speak to you women, and I'm always honored to get the opportunity, but I'm also always nervous because I don't ever know what the Lord is going to say, what he's going to do. And when I got the title, I was so...
Their games. So never think that NBA scout is going to come by your game and put you in.
Because it could happen at any time.
Where did curling's an interesting sport? Where did that start? Does anyone ever got me having to Google?
I think you have to Google. I do not know. I'm not following it enough, but I do know that the headquarters, I was watching quite a bit of Olympics here and there, but the headquarters of curling in the United States is in Duluth, Minnesota. So you know that all of those athletes have something to say about their home state. Because, or not their home state necessarily, but that's where they train.
This is crazy, bro.
Let me clarify. It actually tells you that God instructed him which animals were clean and weren't clean. So he didn't know. God instructed him when he was loading up the ark.
But okay, but that's my point. He ended up finding out, right?
Yeah. He just but
okay, but the text doesn't say.
But it doesn't say what purposes they're clean and unclean.
Okay, that's fine, right? That's fine.
But the
point is,
because he was instructed to bring 5 of the clean animals, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, when you look at Moses' father, did his sin for marry his auntie?
You said, say that again?
Did Moses' father sin for marrying his auntie?
Did Moses' father sin for marrying his aunt?
Yeah.
I don't even know the story. This is before the Mosaic Law gave it, so no.
That's the point.
Oh
you making no point.
No way. No way.
You're making no point.
I don't know what point you're making. What's the point?
The point
It's today, you cannot marry your auntie today because the law tells you not to do that. So if you do that today, that is a sin. If you today marry your sister, like Abraham did, that is a sin. But in the time of Abraham, it was not a sin. When Jacob married two sisters, that is a sin today. You cannot marry two sisters today. It's sin. It wasn't back then because there wasn't no law to tell them.
She just finished saying that sin is the transgression of the law. So please, A, tell us what law they transgressed in the latter case you just gave.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying they did not transgress the law because there wasn't a law telling them you cannot marry your sister.
Yeah. So they didn't sin.
No.
No, they didn't. Get it? They did it not.
Got it. Okay, I got it now.
But if you do it today, you sin because there's a law today that tells you not to marry your half sister.
Okay. Is it? Let me ask you this.
You don't toss that law too, or what? You ain't gonna.
How is it Acts 15, Freeman?
God is immutable. So it's not just they thought these people were bad and therefore these people were savages and they were close to monkeys and all that. That's not really the case. Or they were subhuman. Like people get that wrong about Kant too. Kant, even though he had horrible things to say about the African and the Negro.
It's a couple things. It's practically a historic day.
Parks and Rec. I mean, if you know, it's time to ladies celebrating ladies with frittatas.
So I'm gonna tell my Valentine to go celebrate with another lady.
Yep. On the 13th.
I'm confused by that one.
Yeah, whatever. Google it.
Did you just try to pull a quick one on me?
No, I didn't. I'm being serious. Google it. Ain't nobody got time for this.
Yeah, that's hard to explain, Bliss. I agree. If you don't get it, you don't get it.
Thank you.
Oh, we get it.
Oh, no, you don't get it. Because I'm not fucking... Nobody's making a mosaic out of the favorite bottles of your crush sodas. Of your fucking face. That's not happening.
Yeah, can I have some idea?
What?
What?
I don't know.
You just want some random money?
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Yeah, where do I send the Monopoly dollars?
You gotta have something to do with that. I mean, you know it's gonna give you money if you just...
Example, the Virginians have to change, or maybe they have to add on to the slave codes because blacks enslaved person and blacks got baptized, so I should be free. It becomes very, very complicated because enslaved Africans and Indians in America start to press on that. He also, in the interview, he said, and I didn't know this, which is actually kind of interesting. He says that they, began to treat wars within Christendom as civil wars. So if you had a war between nations, it could justify enslavement, either enslaved or executed if you're like what we now call person, we're captive in a war or whatever. But what they began to do was they began to see nations as sort of subordinate to Christendom, right? And so if I was in France and you were in England, the reason why, even though we were in different nations, we were still under Christendom. And the African wasn't, or the Indian wasn't, or the Asian wasn't. And so he talks about this, the book is obviously more detailed in the interviews I've heard, but I'll read it in the book. So it's very, very interesting stuff, at least to me. But the turn to Rome is fascinating, and the fact, there's this new book that I didn't know about. Your mom was about to share with us. I look forward to reading that too, because Rome is at the center of a lot of this stuff.
It's called The Origins of the Just War by Rory Cox.
Origins. Thank you. I will order that right now. is at the center, and this is completely gone out of how like regular people talk about slavery, but the question of war, ethics of war, just war, that stuff is at the center of all the justifications of slavery before 1750. Let's say 1725. But we don't really talk about those things anymore. Yeah, I don't find Gerald. I don't find. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't find Gerald Horne's Marxist, overdetermined readings of this stuff to be compelling at all. I don't. Horne says it's because the Crown didn't have the resources to enslave the Irish and Africans. I find that to be just wrong. So I don't know.
One other book on war that has a section of a chapter on just war, and the Augustinian line there is by Beach. It's called War: A Genealogy of Western Ideas and Practices, by Beatrice Hauser, Heuser. I read that
Hauser.
a while ago. I read it a while ago. I only read part of the book, to be fair, to be clear, and I read the chapter that I'm telling you about, or the chapter I mentioned. But I since heard her do an interview, and I thought the way in which she tried to approach war as an intellectual rather than a like a physical concept, I thought was interesting.
I got it. Thank you. Hey, Britt, what's up? So, y'all, this is not really politically correct. So, if people are here for politically correct, everybody kind of left. So, we need to close this and do another room, or we can stay here. But this is not really politically correct.
Man, same here. I'm actually listening to it. I'm just heading to the gym.
I was just for anybody relevant that was coming in. I mean, I know you and Brother Messi. I know you guys don't have anywhere else to go.
Listen, motherfucker, I'm about to go to the gym.
Oh, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am.
And I'm over here listening. I'm in practice the concepts, the CAR.
Did you say French?
Yes. How's your practice going, DT? DT, say CAR.
That's City water. Okay, let's not do that.
You know what I'm obsessed on, y'all? The way people say worship. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. Y'all listen with how people talk about worship. Oh my God, it's
How they say it or how they talk about it?
how they say it.
I just want to say that it's a good sport. I did not crash. And I was thrown into the boat.
That was bad. Oh, I sent you in a nice car. I sent you in a nice car.
You need to act like a TT and get them for that. Because that would be respect.
Well, let me respond to Nathaniel. And this has everything to do with slavery. It has nothing to do with political rights. I mean, the reason why they didn't do it there is because it was a huge, so there were religious based civil wars. Remember the fate of Charles, and then his son and nephew come in, Charles II, then James II. CBS News I saw the other day called King Charles II.
That's insane.
Fascinating. I know it's a typo.
My God.
That's a pretty famous king to mess up.
Good Lord.
But yeah, those things.
And Charles is, don't tell him Charles II wasn't English, but anyway.
Oh, not this. And everything he brought when he was in exile, he brought all that shit back from from France. Yeah, I mean, there was a whole Catholic Protestant war. So but they didn't enslave each other. That's the thing. Yeah. So the thing with slavery, I'll just say it again. So what's his name? What Harpham lays out is how the English adopt Roman law around slavery, essentially. And instead of the idea that persons who are captured from foreign nations can be enslaved, they and other nations in Europe as part of Christendom. And therefore, they don't enslave them because they're all part of Christendom. Which is why, as I was saying, in the early colonies, say in Virginia, say 1630, you have Africans getting baptized and saying, well, I'm now baptized, I should be free. So they have to change the slave code. I think it's 1660, someone can drive to look it up. They change the slave code to justify the fact that you get baptized, you shouldn't be free. That's part of that broader European ideal that you shouldn't enslave people in Christendom. What they see in Africa is that the wars that the Africans are having, because the Africans also enslave captives from their warring nations and tribes, they say, oh shit, there's the Roman model right there. And so they use that, they sort of map on Roman law to their reading of Africa as a way of justifying. Because remember, the English come late. They kind of start a little bit, they're exploring. Elizabeth gives some guy, I forget his name offhand, a charter. It's like, and they take the time. Then, of course, they have their own civil stuff. They have the Civil War. They have Charles I executed. And then after the Restoration, when is the Restoration? 1660. Was the Restoration 1660? That sounds right. Thank you. After the Restoration in 1660, Charles II comes back from exile, mostly in France. His brother, the Duke of York, gets the charter, him and his boys, for the Royal Africa Company. And all of a sudden he has Royal Africa Company. And what Harpham is sort of laying out here in detail is how how Roman law gives them the justification. A lot of people, when they know a couple of things here, they go back to Aristotle. So part of the intervention in the book is he shows, put that Aristotle shit aside, because they're actually not using natural slavery as a justification. Because what people do is they then do Aristotle, natural slavery, and because they're black, they can be enslaved. You don't really get versions of that until the United States, really. I don't know. I can go on and on and on. You guys can talk about Donald Trump and Pam Bondi. What do you think?
No, we're gonna take up an offering for you.
I know. I'm not Baptist. I'll be good. I'm fine.
I was gonna say, because God loves a cheerful giver. I was really gonna roll out the A&E style offering. What's going on?
Just give it to your local black woman so she can continue to be the most educated demographic in America.
You know, I thought you were in the NOI.
Oh, I can't be pinned down. I'm all over the place.
NOI is nasty. I remember. I have to go and look at Horns. I don't remember Horns' documentation offhand, how he argues and sustains the argument that the reason. No, there was that thing of Horn. I said I don't remember Horn's idea that the crown couldn't enslave the Irish, so they went to the Africans. I don't.
I think that might be in his book on the origin of, if I'm accurate on this, this might be in the origin of his capitalism book. His origin of capitalism, is that the book?
I don't know.
I think it's
the counter-revolution.
Oh, the counter-revolution. Oh, what? Okay.
No, it would be no. This would be slavery. We're just Oh no. It would be on the apocalypse of settler colonialism, the roots of slavery, white supremacy, and capitalism in the 1790s. Yes, you're exactly right. Yeah. I mean, I'll go back and look it up.
So the reason why I was off mute said, because this is the critique of Horn, right? He moves too fast.
It's a lot. I mean, I didn't know Horn had the languages for this either. Horn, how many languages does he speak? Does he speak Dutch? Can he read Dutch? I mean, you have to work through Dutch. I'm surprised. Anyway, but yeah, the race thing is really, ironically enough, it's an enlightenment thing in many ways. It really is. These ideas, if you read Hegel's philosophy of history, there's a really good encapsulation, a kind of an endpoint of enlightenment. That's later, it's 50 years after Kant, 40 years after Kant, something like that. But that's not how people in England, the way Kant and Hegel see the African is not at all how the English, for example, saw the African and African civilization in the 17th century. It's just not at all. I will be honest with you, I don't even know, well, I was there, so. It's a lot more complicated than like, oh, they had to do it because of capitalism. Oh, they did it because they were black. It's just not. It's just not. It's just not it. Now, I will say that by the time you get to, say, the 1770s, because I just read Falconbridge's account from 1778, they're just taking any African they can take. And they were, and this is how I know Harpham is correct, because in Falconbridge's account, which anybody can read, it's only 60 pages actually, on maybe 70, on Google Books. He spends some time disabusing people, disabusing his readers of the notion that that African captives were begotten because they were prisoners of war, or they were captives from other nations. I think he does that because that was the common understanding, that the people who are being enslaved, that are being sold into slavery in the Gulf of Guinea and Senegambia, et cetera, these are people who were captives from war, and therefore, in the English imagination, that justifies their enslavement. He spends a lot of time in a short book saying that's actually not why they're enslaved. He says what's happening is that the kings and the merchants under them of African kingdoms are quite literally stealing people. And that when we're not here, he says, there's no strife. It's actually us who bring the strife, because we're the ones that are feeding the strife, because slave trading with us has become core of their economy. It's quite deep. I mean, you really have to get into this stuff to really understand what it is. Now, it is true that he says that another way they got slaves, although fewer slaves, was through what they call boating. And boating is when, the big slave ship comes, they have the canoes, whatever, and they would go along the coastline of the Gulf of Guinea and get people who live in coastal areas. They would get some of that. But generally, then these people are kidnapped. They're not actually captives or prisoners of war. That only makes sense in 1778 if you believe that these people are prisoners of war. That's why Harpham's book is so interesting, because his book stops 1700. So that means that justification in the broader popular English imagination was, oh, these people are prisoners of war. We all believe if you're a prisoner of war, you could be enslaved. So that whole they did it because they didn't have the money to slave. I don't see that. It also depends on the monarch. Some of the monarchs were Catholic even after the Restoration. I think Charles II was like a crypto-Catholic. I think James II was an actual Catholic. Of course, they deposed him in the Glorious Revolution of 1688, 1689. It's just a lot going on. It's just a lot going on. These are. I have to go back. I'll go back and read this book, this Horn book, but it's just not it's just not compelling to me. The economic arguments are not overly compelling to me. Now, this is a new book. We were in a lull, so we were talking about stuff. It's called The Intellectual Origins of American Slavery, English Ideas in the Early Modern Atlantic World. And I listened to a few interviews with the guy, and I ordered the book this morning, and he essentially argues that the English justified slavery via Roman law.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Car service.
Oh.
Total.
I mean, the Jacobite Rebellion. Yeah, the Jacobite Rebellion. Yeah, that comes after they tried to put James's son back on the throne. I just think that the Marxists and the Marxist sympathizers just do not take intellectual history, religion, and law nearly seriously enough. Don't. And the justifications change over time too. Like they're black, they should be enslaved. It's changed over time. It also depends on who the enslaving power is. The Dutch have to, it's very complex. People, as Kimberly Foster would say, people should be very wary of a single story. But anyway, I've talked enough. You guys can go ahead and talk about how go ahead and break it down how Chuck Schumer and John Thune need to come together on the SAVE Act.
No, I mean it is a very complicated story about ideology, attitudes, prejudice, belief system.
It's not biased. You remember Brian Pope the other night? Not biased.
Oh,
Why are you here for that? No. Well, never mind. You'll get the joke. Keep going. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Okay. But yeah, it's a very complicated story, and I was in another room and they were talking about people truly believe it's largely relatable. Some parts doesn't really matter.
Bring the
And the other
food.
parts, what people believe and what they used to justify was evolved. I mean, we're talking about ideologies that morphed over hundreds of years. Like this wasn't just like even a 50-year period of time. We're talking about generations, centuries worth of logic, and making this shit up as they went along. It's not and then one place was different than other places. So even whether you're talking about the colonies, whether you're talking about differences in cities, they were talking about the Americas or Europe, or the Caribbean or the South America. All those ideologies were different, and different ways of engaging, sort of actualizing those beliefs.
comfort. You know, and then you know, I mean, then it's also like you have to begin to really theorize, when does an English intellectual history begin to recede, and when does an American one, begin to rise and become dominant? You know what I mean? It's like they're British for a long time. And depending on how you read it and what you're talking about, say in this case the view on slavery, when do they become American? That is to say something that's not British. The royal governors are there, royal governors, people going back and forth, posts going back and forth, laws being set by the crown and by parliament, trade being set that way, newspapers and periodicals that circulate through the young empire find their way, in the House of, what do they call it in Virginia? The House of Burgess, whatever it's called. Yeah. It's just like, when does it become an American thing? Then you get a clash, and you get sort of revolutionary sense of loyalist versus the patriot. It's just very, very complicated. And these sort of, it was for capitalism, it was for profit. And by the way, it wasn't always profitable. That's the first thing. But then, this stuff is for, that's the gang. And then stuff, this is for, because, they saw the African as less than and therefore enslavable. That's not always the case.
Right, because wait a minute, like if you think about the timeline, we have the British in control of the West Indies, but they're fighting black people in America. They're fighting with black people in America in 1812, sending them to different areas where slavery is still on the books, but not being enforced on
Charity work never ends.
everyone, because you have like people being sent to Trinidad, right? But this is before the 1830s, right? They're being sent there as free land-owning men, right? They're also they're also escaping to Canada, right? So it's kind of like, but then Jamaica still got slavery going on. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's real. Like their timeline is real crazy. Like they were just basically, not just basically, because I don't actually want to simplify it. I mean, I want to keep it to the point of how much more complicated it actually.
People don't show a lot. It's a miracle.
Hold on, y'all can hear me?
Hello?
As soon as we muted you,
It's raining today, but
you didn't get that much out. You didn't get that much out.
Hello?
As soon as you farted, we muted you.
A fart.
Racist, right? It's not. He's actually imputing graciousness into the law.
Yeah, but there is also grace is in the law.
Yeah, no, but not in this instance. So, right? Life for life, tooth for tooth, eye for eye, whatever the case is, right? That's justice. So,
No, but you don't have to do those things, Jason. If someone does something, no, you don't. It's up to you. You don't have to like, if someone kills somebody, you don't have to go and be like, I want you to be killed. The law gives you the opportunity to do that, but you don't have to do that.
Of course, but what I'm saying is, Jesus is saying,
Jesus is saying, don't do it.
Yeah, but what he's saying is, if someone's
From stars you used to know. This is my meditation of quiet fire on my brow. I turn every shadow into soft golden brown. In this old words on my tongue tip, soft as falling snow. Your fears in the lantern, I watch them lose their hold. I trace you a doorway made of breath and light. Step through, leave your armor. You're safe in here tonight. In this my meditation of guided fire on my brow. I turn every shadow into soft golden brown. In this meditation, hear your warm heart slowing down. They were too nice.
Nah, dude. Slavery, and I think is that.
Not until you just said it. It's okay. Dude, the mighty might. You're the might. At the pole vault in the Summer Olympics. Yeah, go ahead, Sia. You want to tell everyone about it?
I don't, hell no, but I was thinking somebody was gonna say that.
Oh, women are very well aware of all the penis episodes that happen, especially in Olympics.
I learned something.
Now you need to, AJ, you are now assigned the penis assignment of the day, which is go find out what happened in the pole vault at the Olympics with a penis. Go do it.
Okay, I'm assuming they really wear shorts.
Oh, no. Track and field.
Okay.
We can see everything in track and field. We see everything in track and field, number one. Number two, if you want to really see a lot of penises in sport, you can watch any cross-country race or track race where men are wearing split shorts.
Yeah, that happens at the gym sometimes. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that.
OP shorts, those high cut shorts from the 70s.
It sits down and it's like,
oh yeah, over the cord.
There. Yeah. I've seen my share of just members at the gym.
I'm sorry for making you Google, but I'm not sorry. But you are the person who comes back.
I love my opportunity to mess up, so let me do it.
Yes, do it on your browser. But you will come back, report to us, and give us, the book report about what happened in the Summer Olympics. When you have a penis that is not,
secure.
There you go.
Just a quick quote.
I don't like it. Puns or just accidents.
That's it.
Yeah,
When I saw that, I was done.
Yeah.
The pole went on the guy's nutsack, and all you heard was like a.
Everything into it.
Yeah.
I think the best way to describe for people that have never experienced pain, what the pain is like, it's like, you know, in a movie and you watch someone get sliced really bad with a knife or they get cut, like, however, and it's not really... Like they cut right in the penis. No, my point is they don't even know if they got cut, right? There's like no... Getting hit in the nuts is like what the pain should be getting stabbed, but really doesn't, right? Like that's what it actually feels like when you get stabbed. It's just for some reason getting stabbed is somewhat not that painful if it doesn't hit an organ. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like, oh my God, am I bleeding? Like, you know, like because it was so clean. But when you get kicked in the nuts, that's exactly where the programming should have been in the human body to feel the pain of when you get cut. It should have been like that. And that's what you feel. You feel exactly the way that it looks like it's going to feel in the movies. And it just like goes into your upper cavity. And just like, you know, your spinal column, like sensation, like ripping through your whole body. It's just all concentrated as if, oh my God, this is what death feels like. Right, that's it.
I like to compare it to childbirth.
Because we know that well too.
Well, I'm glad I have this.
Exactly.
I don't want any nuts things. I'm good. I don't want to feel that pain.
It's a clearance like law.
This is Z, and I raised a son, and there was a lot of boys in the house, so there's all kinds of stuff about getting injured. Yeah, down below. So, and my son has
and the great part about it,
My mom!
is after the 2 to 3 minutes are up, it drifts away into nothingness, and then by 4 minutes, it's like nothing ever happened. There's no sustained injury. It's just like, hey, wow, I made it. The sun shines out again.
Yeah, well, defense class, they tell you if you can get them in the nuts, that's like the best place to get them. And then, you know, there's other techniques, but nuts is like the first thing to try to kick them in.
There's nothing you can do for like at least a minute, if not 2 to 4
Yeah, you
minutes.
have like a minute to escape once you've done it.
So, I guess now isn't the time to go into all that I learned about circumcision, pain, and penis. No.
And you use your quota on saying the P word. Like, I know you love saying that word, but like, we all have an aversion to that word too. Like saying it too much. It's just you went over the quota.
Just say cock or dick.
Yeah, say something else.
Or erectile tissue. Like, at least make it funny.
You really want me to say erectile tissue? How about, like...
I mean, kind of, yeah. Say it one more time.
Like, you handle the anatomically... I can't handle the anatomically correct word. Like, this is very...
Use a funny accent. Maybe just call it penis or something.
No, it's anatomically correct. It's
official names are not that great. Like, vagina. Vagina's terrible. Penis is terrible.
You don't need to be accurate. You don't need to be accurate.
No.
And some of the bad names are bad too. Like the C word for woman is this.
Oh no, that's a great one.
Caretaker?
I like all the dirtiest ones. Those are my favorite.
You're just a dirty doctor over there.
No, I was about to say, aren't you in psych?
Just like Freud. Just like Freud.
What I said right when he came up.
He's the rapist. He's not that kind of doctor. Cocaine and ass.
Is it your mom you're thinking of at this moment? No, you gross fart.
So how does the skiers thing work? And basically, it seems like really counterintuitive. If you make yourself bigger or heavier, then you're just gonna make your outfit bigger and larger. Aren't you just like increasing drag?
No, think of a little flying squirrel. Sorry, I'm filing my nails.
Are you saying that the nuts flare out like a flying squirrel?
That's what they're saying.
Well, that's an interesting visual.
There's actually an article on that about the guy
guys do in the injections, because they inject their penises with something to make
Silicone. Yeah, silicone.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, it's not silicone.
Is it
I mean, are socks not allowed?
membrane? Which one is it?
You're asking very practical. Can't they just get fitted for the suits with socks on?
No, because you end up like everything is done. Okay, so at least in track and field, I can verify that every implement, everything you use, your uniforms, your spikes, everything has to be inspected specifically by the officials of the sport. You have to.
Cheaters no place better than track and field.
Well, yes, I know.
Are cups not allowed? I mean, safety first.
Nope.
Oh, this is all speculation.
You're scaring me.
Yo, everyone, Heather has a gun. Leave her alone.
Heather's got a gun.
And now you know the rest.
Heather's got a gun.
The more you know.
No, the rest of the story.
Hello?
Is this for Paul Harvey or what was this for?
Oh, what was your?
Heather's got a gun.
I mean, yours was Paul Harvey.
Heather's got a
The
gun.
rest of the story, or is it just
No, had nothing to do with Paul Harvey.
most memorable moments? Sit in the tractor and wait to hear Paul Harvey say, and that's the rest of the story. Good day. Just iconic.
And that's the rest of the story. Good day. Hello? Hello? Hello?
So this is a pretty fucked up one. Canada's discussing euthanizing newborn babies.
Ooh, that's called abortion.
Did you give me the right color?
Wait, what is that about?
So, the Quebec College of Physicians, College of Medicine, to Quebec told the Daily Mail that in rare cases, medical assistance in buying Canadian end-of-life policy, MAID.
Johnny,
Hello?
how's your day?
It's good. I just had dinner. I just was at the gym working out, and now I took all the garbage out. I'm gonna clean up a little bit, take a hot bath, sipping some coffee.
I took a hot bath, gave myself a pedicure, manicure, polished, and it was like itch around my ankle.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a couple of weeks. I put some triple antibiotic on it.
Uh-oh.
And you know what? It's soothing it.
Oh.
Must be a little fungus there.
Try warm compresses and then ice it.
Why? You thinking it's some arthritic?
It's just amazing what icing does, because it draws the blood to the area.
That's a thought.
Because the body wants to circulate the blood to prevent hypothermia, so it'll bring in new cells to the area.
Could be working out in the dirt. I got some,
Yeah, you got a rash.
Huh?
You've got a rash.
Yeah, a rash. It's probably from working with mulches and moss.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
It's inflammation.
Because I usually wear a low tennis sock.
Yeah.
We have such pretty mild winters. And it's like right where the tennis sock top edge is.
Well, try the ice. I think you'll be surprised.
Yeah, that would feel really good on it. So, Sam showed her birthday picture. You probably got it too, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So, you were living in California, if I recall.
Yep, I was living in Hermosa Beach.
And you drove to her house.
Yep.
And you brought a dog.
Yep.
And you laid in the lounge. She had a recliner. And that dog just loved laying
even.
was a really good dog, you know that?
Yeah, that was a good rescue dog. I
What was its name?
David Bowie.
That's a good one.
I think I brought the dog back to the shelter where I got it from. I can't remember. Yeah, I brought it back to the same shelter.